You've got the look in your eyes. You're on a mission, burning ambition. You've got your eyes on the prize. You've gotta rise to the challenge. Show 'em what you got. Set them to take what's yours. You are kings now, curse of titans.
I'm sure I'll come up and referencing him at some point.
Absolutely. Hey, everyone. This is Tornado Tag Podcast, the interview series. This is going to be part two of the Blue and Gold special. So, Andy.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. We were talking about Howard Stern before we started and the Baba Booey love tape. So this is probably going to be one of the only interviews for a long time that I'm going to be able to do face-to-face. Yeah, face-to-face.
We're live, pal.
And the rest of them are going to be over the phone. We've had some really cool episodes. Drew's episode was fantastic. We talked to High Tension.
Get to listen, yeah.
Oh, Drew's was really good. And then just
John Moran.
Johnny Moran was fantastic.
And they're the only ones that are done right now, right?
No, there's one that's coming out. This is going to air a week next week
in advance.
But the one that's coming out next is going to be Chris Widener. He's the new trainee who was at the GSW show. He was the manager that night. He's very new.
Oh, do you have a picture of him?
Yeah.
I'm sure I might not know him. A lot of times the trainees come in and there's like 5 new trainees and it's like, I don't know your names.
Yeah, he's fresh to the game.
That's cool.
He's the one that we said looked like Tyler.
Oh, okay.
That looked like our Tyler.
Yeah. I'm sure I've seen him.
In the bottom left.
Oh, okay.
Yes. He looked. We said, like, holy shit, Tyler's clones here. Very, very nice guy. But yeah, well, I'll give you a quick rundown of what to expect here. So I reached out. We used to do the interviews during the show, and it was like we had to cram the interview in, and then we were cutting people off kind of so we can get into the show's topics and our topic of the night. It's crazy how much time takes up when we actually review every week. Like that's become the show now.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people like to hear. I mean,
yeah, they
2
really
shows is enough time to talk about. You know.
Yeah,
I don't like this. I like this.
Yep. So I'm trying to find the post here again real quick. Let me pull it up. But yeah, so we're gonna have a lot of people who've done the show before. During the show times, come back and record just to kind of give you a rundown. And then we have some new people come on. So Kit Raff is going to be on the show. Really cool. Honestly, like, besides the tag team match that you guys were in, the triple threat tag team match that you guys were in, I thought him and Adina had probably the match of the night.
Yeah, that was pretty nice.
They had a great match.
He was in a tag team called the Impeccables. After that with Keita Murray.
Okay.
Yeah, that was his tag partner and his friend.
Fox Viner is going to be back.
You said his name right.
I did. Adina Steele, speaking of, is going to be back. Honestly, besides Drew is another one, but Adina, her work ethic during this virus has been impeccable. Like she's just working out
she's
like
in
a
fantastic
psycho.
Shape.
Like I can't wait to see her hard work pay off when she steps back into the ring and wrestling comes back. Chris, if I'm saying your shoot name, I apologize. But I don't. Yeah. So
it's Chris Anarchy.
Is that what it is?
I don't know.
Oh yeah. Well, Chris Decker.
Oh yeah, that's it. He always went by referee Chris Decker.
All right, cool. So our first referee in the show.
Yeah, how about that?
Really excited.
He's been reffing for, I would say 10 years.
And he's good, man.
Yeah.
His facial expressions and the way he
he's very animated.
Yeah, he's super.
He was behind the scenes with GSW, so you can ask him all about that.
Yep.
Booking and getting shows. And
Trajan is gonna be back.
Yeah.
Really excited for that one. I'm a big fan of Trajan. Matt.
Durline. I know it's spelled insane, and like try remembering how to spell that.
Yeah, another referee.
Yeah.
Fantastic referee.
Yeah, so he started with Chikara. So yeah, he's been reffing 15 years at least.
Yeah, another fantastic ref.
Yeah,
like that GSW show had some good referees on it.
Yeah, definitely.
You left the show like, holy shit, there's it was talent in the ring and talent in the referee spots as well. Max Morrison is going to be on the show.
That'd be cool.
Ryan Vox.
You have to ask him about, he was in a music video for a heavy metal band, a thrash metal band. I forget the name of it, but it was pretty cool. He's like, it was a bar fight in the video.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ryan Vox going to be down.
The mind behind Outbreak Wrestling. And maybe we'll talk about the studio show that's on the way.
Yeah.
So, I'm excited for that.
Then we have Brandon Larson, cities down, Mason Martin. You just beat to become number one
Baltimore
contender.
Beast.
The Baltimore Beast. Looks fantastic, man. Lost a lot of weight.
He did.
That last Outbreak show, he looked great. Logan
Helfenstein? I believe his wrestling name is different.
Jason Drake.
Okay, there we go.
I just pulled it up.
I believe it was Logan something before.
I could see a Logan. He has like the longer hair, but he has a great look. He kind of resembles like a Seth Rollins look a little bit.
Oh yeah, a little
bit. Him and what's his name kind of they have that like is it? I don't. It's okay to say good looking. Like we're not. Yeah, I'm comfortable with my sexuality. Like both good looking. Him and who's the other dude that used to be at? He wrestled a couple times at Outbreak. He had the blonde streak in his hair, kind of like Seth Rollins.
Oh, I forget his name. Yeah, I know who you mean.
Oh, he was really good too.
I think he's from Maryland area. I'm not sure. Maryland, Delaware.
I'm really bummed I don't know his name right now.
I can't. Oh my god.
I
gave him a diamond cutter at one time. He came out. I was like, oh.
Yeah, and he has a really cool finisher. I just remember.
It's the Naito finisher, the Destino. Because it's like.
Destino
looked awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. I forget. It's weird because like let me look on Facebook. I don't know his name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did the Destino at but yeah, so we have a lot of really cool guests lined up. So this interview series might be something we you might have one a week for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
We'll kind of backpile them and get them all done while I'm locked down because we're looking at the world going back to normal. But then I'm reading stuff like because of the protests, they may extend the corona because they're afraid that the outbreaks are going to get a lot higher because people were kind of out before.
Yeah, going crazy. But
so who knows?
Who knows?
Right, yeah.
I'm
excited for pro wrestling to come back. I don't know if by the time this airs, this should be next week. I'm not sure when it comes out.
So let's say June.
PPW's doing a shirt promotion. It's going to be online only. You could do your pre-orders now. You can contact Paul Bow or PPW Wrestling on Facebook or their website, and they have a PPW Strong Nation shirt.
Okay.
Like it says PPW Strong.
Yeah.
So it's a good way to support them. And if you hear the commercial that's coming out soon, you might notice the voice on it.
Oh, hey, how about that?
I don't know. I know the guy.
There we go. How about that little race car that the guy made?
How about that Luchador logo looks so cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I don't know if he drew that himself or I don't know, but the car. I looked at it and said, that's cool. And I looked at the next post and I'm like, oh, my name's on the car.
Is it?
Yeah. So if you go down, it says a bunch of wrestlers' names and there's like a bar, right? That sticks out. My name's on the bar. Like the names, like as they go down, it's on the bar. Right?
Nice.
I forget who's next to me. I forget.
Wow.
I was like, that's cool.
That is really cool. I didn't know they put the wrestlers' names on.
Yeah. It says like main event and Facade, Deshaun, and Bro Keller, all the big names.
I mean, you're making waves there.
Yeah, how about that?
It's starting to look like
someone read enough to put my name on a little. Yeah, I don't know what kind of race car would you call that. I don't.
It's like a modified dirt or something like that.
Yeah, like a Flying Dutchman
from Knoebels.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into the interview. It's gonna be hard. Not really hard, but like when we sit down and we record like 2 or 3 times a week together. So this is gonna be a little.
So I spit
a little different
knowledge out all the time.
Yeah,
but just whatever you asked the previous people.
Yeah. So we'll jump right into it. When did you become a pro wrestling fan?
Sometime when I was real young.
Yeah.
I was like 5 or 6.
First experience?
It was wrestling at night. It wasn't a Sunday or Saturday morning, and I didn't understand anything because I was so young. And I just remember it was either a tag match or a 6-man tag match. I remember Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I'm not a big Jim Duggan fan, but I remember him, and he stood out. And I couldn't tell you who else was in the match. I'm assuming it was some superstars or something. Yeah. At the time, I was like, "Wow, that was really cool."
My first match was tag team as well. Was the Rockers? I don't remember who the Rockers wrestled.
Yeah,
but kind of like your
Duggan
experience.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
They just stood out because I was like, "Oh, that's cool."
Yeah, like what is that? People beating each other up and they're larger than life, especially like 80s WWF.
It was superheroes before superheroes for me. They were the living embodiment of a superhero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then as you watch it, then you would see Hogan and Macho and Warrior. But oh, look at all these guys! They're awesome. You know.
Now, do you remember when you became aware of wrestling and like, okay, I have my favorites?
Not really. It was probably a couple years thereafter. So like right there, I was probably like 5, 6, something like that. So maybe about when I was 10, I understood enough. Hey, wrestling comes on every Monday and then Sundays, and I would look in the paper because the paper had that generic TV guide.
Yeah. And
then I'd see when wrestling was on, and it comes on like 10 a.m. on Saturday morning. So I'd watch it. I would devour as much as I could, man. If I had the network then.
Was wrestling?
I would have watched everything, but it wasn't the internet then.
Wrestling, the network just came out with their free subscription today.
Oh, really? Yeah, you get like so much. I think you get a pay-per-view like 2 months later or something like that. I don't know.
Was wrestling a part of your household? Was the rest of your family into wrestling?
so nobody was. They knew of it, my mom said she went to a couple shows and she liked Tony Gurria back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
They would go to Hamburg when WWE used to
Yeah.
tape there back in like 80, well, probably before the
When,
70s,
like, Hogan
late 70s, yeah.
and
So we're talking like 79, 80,
Andre
81,
was there.
yeah. And I think my grandmother, she knew of it, but my great-grandmother used to watch it a little bit, but I just to be like, oh, there's that wrestling, I'll put it on. I don't know if she knew.
Like people's names.
Yeah, so but I mean, great-grandmother, you're going back to early 60s, 70s, so.
Bruno.
Yeah, Bruno when he was around, or like if it was NWA, what's his name? Not Gerald Briscoe, Jack Briscoe. So
Yeah.
I don't, she died before I was born, so I have no idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, no one in my family was like, oh, like wrestling. Yeah, I like this guy and this guy. So that was the first one.
Yeah. Now, another funny thing I learned about you too is like for as long as you were able to grow your hair long, you kind of always had long hair.
Yeah, since 4th, 5th grade, I think.
That's
when
awesome.
when I learned that was an option that you could do. Oh, you can let your hair grow. You don't have to get a haircut. I remember I had short haircut in the racing stripes in the side.
Yeah.
Because that would have been 91-ish. So think about like who was hot at the time. MC Hammer,
Yeah.
Vanilla Ice.
Did pro wrestling influence you to grow your hair long?
Maybe. I don't know.
I always wanted long hair
Really?
because of pro wrestling.
Probably that and
Yeah.
heavy metal would probably a nerve factor. Like, look at these dudes. They're so cool. You know?
Just something about when a wrestler flicks his hair
Yeah,
over
does
his
that,
head.
yeah.
It's just like I want to do
And you
that.
think like back in the 80s, like everybody almost had long hair. Unless
Yeah.
they, even like Hogan was bald, but he still had long hair in the back.
yeah, he definitely rocked it in the
And
back.
even Macho Man, like he didn't have a short haircut. He had wild hair.
Oh my god!
So
yeah.
I don't know if that was part of it, but yeah, I just always liked long hair. So
Who were some of your favorites growing up? Like they were like when they were on TV, they were your go-tos.
well, but back in the day, of course, when I was a kid, it was like, well, I like Hogan, but then I also like Macho Man, Warrior, but I liked Mr. Perfect. I really liked Roddy Piper when I was young.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
even if they're bad or good, it didn't really matter. Like I like that guy; he's cool. And of course, back when I was young, I seen zero WCW, and so I would start buying magazines
Okay.
because we didn't get TBS in Pottsville till like 93 or 94. I think when Nitro started, we just got TBS.
Yeah.
So like that's Saturday night. I missed a bunch of Saturday night. Like if I seen it, it was because I was at somebody's house and they're like, oh, wrestling's on. I'm like, oh, I'll watch it. And it's
Yeah.
like WCW, what?
Mm-hmm.
And then like I never seen NWA. If it came on, I was just oblivious to it. So.
Yeah, same here. I was born and raised the WWE product, so the only time I really seen or heard of guys, I just remember like my dad would take me to like a magazine store, and it would be like, hey, here's a wrestling magazine. I remember it might have been like Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Like
Yeah, that was the big one.
The red covers, everything was pretty much black and white for the most part.
Yeah, they were all black and white. They were called the After Mags. And there was
Yes.
also Inside Wrestling and the Wrestler. So I used to walk down to the Giant and buy them all the time. Just because I was like, who are these other wrestlers? And then you
Yeah.
get them a couple color pages and like, oh, look at these pictures.
And almost every color page was Ric Flair
bleeding.
Yeah.
Or Hogan, whoever was big at the time.
And I just remember seeing like Flair, and I'm like, whoever this guy is crazy.
Yeah.
He's crazy. Like I don't even think at the time I was really like. I wasn't a reader. Like I was young. I was at the point where I was
just
so
looking at
young.
pictures, really.
It was a picture
Yeah.
book, yeah. And I just remember seeing like Flair, and then when he like kind of debuted around that Royal Rumble time, I was like, "This is that guy.
Yeah, there's that guy, the bloody guy.
That's the bloody guy." Like I like Flair, but as a kid, he wasn't in my all-time greats or all my favorites because he kind of bounced around a lot.
Yeah. And I be watching mainly WWF. Like he didn't come into 92, so I was already watching. I was like, I don't
And
know.
it didn't seem like he was there very long until he left again.
Yeah, a cup of coffee. I think he was there 2 years.
Yeah.
And I didn't know him at all, so he wasn't like the top of my list. Like a lot of guys, when you watch it later on, you're like, wow, they're really good, but you don't know when you're a kid. You're just looking at colors. Like the Ultimate Warrior's awesome,
Yeah.
and you watch Ultimate Warrior now, like, oh, he's the shits, but he's still awesome. But
He had a great character.
yeah,
Great character.
it's just
yeah.
in the ring. It's like, ooh.
Now,
boy.
who was your first guy that when you watch wrestling, you're like, oh, this is somebody I like, and maybe, sorry, they weren't a main event guy, but you kind of watched them work their way up through the ranks and.
Probably Bret Hart, because when I started, Bret Hart was a tag wrestler, but then Shawn Michaels too. But Bret Hart,
Brett and
yeah,
Shawn,
yeah.
I think, are our generation's like success stories in the wrestling.
Yeah, and
business.
then it's somewhat Razor, but he was never world champion.
Yeah.
I mean, when you the WCW, so like, oh, I like this Razor Ramon guy.
Yeah.
Dog's barking. The dog does not like Razor Ramon.
I think someone's knocking at the door.
Really? Do you want to pause it?
Yeah, let's pause real quick.
Let me just.
All right, we're back.
No.
The dog was barking. We had to take a quick pause there. But
A break for station identification. Remember
Yeah.
that guy from the? I used to hear that on the baseball thing. Not to interrupt that. We're gonna
we-
pause for station identification.
I wish I had a commercial to throw in there.
Nicky Moore and D&E Bobby Abreu. That's all I remember that guy.
Yeah, so Brett and Sean definitely were like our generations. You watch
Yeah.
them go from tag to champions.
Yeah, and you're like, wow, he's winning the Intercontinental and he wins the World title. That's one thing that I miss nowadays. Like, no one really like starts off nothing, gets the Intercontinental for a couple years, and then moves up the World. It's either like they're all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it happens, but not like how it used to.
I think the guy that you can maybe say that's going to be now is maybe like an Andrade.
Yeah, because
think
he was U.S. champ twice now. Or something.
Yeah. It's yeah. I'm trying to think in today's time, who can that guy be?
Because it was much clearer back then. Like, oh, this guy's he's clearly moving on to better things.
Otis.
Maybe. I mean, if they give him a run at the he has the Money in the Bank, so I don't I know who.
Broke away from a tag team.
What if he won a tag
Dolph
title?
Ziggler.
Kinda,
He
yeah.
went from he went from a job squad, like the cheer squad, like there's jobbers, to Intercontinental champ.
Yeah, and then he was World. He won it, but then he's like, the only problem with him is he's up and down, and down. That's why I'm like, oh, Dolph.
Yeah, where he doesn't really stay at the top of his game. The Miz. The Miz.
I
is
guess
a
you could
pretty
say
good
the Miz.
success
I mean, he
story.
got up to World title, but then he kind of put him back down Intercontinental. But
Yeah.
he could have won again when him and John Cena were having the feud with Nikki and Maurice.
Oh, that would have been.
I would have put the World title on him then.
Yeah,
I would have did that.
His work against Cena was fantastic, and his work with Daniel Bryan that never flourished.
We never really got
was
that.
Amazing, yeah. We never got that
Maybe one
rivalry
day.
payoff, yeah. Well, they made him heel again, and they're on the same brand, right? So that can definitely
I think so,
be
yeah.
something they work back towards. That iconic moment of that talking.
You put them at a
smack.
WrestleMania match, Miz with some title, and Daniel Bryan beats him.
Yeah,
for
we got the Miz as a babyface fighting Shane McMahon.
Yeah. And the
Weird.
match was like, it was okay, but it wasn't. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it was interesting, but yeah. So growing up, being a wrestling fan, following it through, was it something in school that did you ever get flack for being a wrestling fan?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I remember in elementary school, kids would trade the old school wrestlers. You know the ones that would like pull their arm back and they do that.
Okay,
the
the
LGNs.
LGNs.
And I only had a couple, but I remember this one kid had a ton of them. I remember he had Dusty Rhodes at recess one time. I was like, oh, Dusty Rhodes with his polka dots.
Yeah,
I had no idea he was an NWA World Champion because I didn't know NWA existed till magazines.
I lost all of mine in a house fire.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah,
I only have a couple now.
I had a lot. I don't have any.
Wow.
I don't have any.
I have Demolition and LOD and Warrior.
There's a few that like, if I had the money to spare, I would pick them up again. Like I would like to get the Sean's back.
Okay,
Because
yeah.
I had the Sean's with the red pants that you squished him down and he jumped.
Okay, yeah.
And then I had the Sean where I believe it was like a clothesline action.
Okay.
And that's when he had the white and silver pants.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Like he had a few different gears. And then the rocker, I had the rocker Shawn Michaels too. Yeah.
They were cool.
I remember who was the one I had too that when every time they had the ones with the open hand, like a finger would always snap off.
Yeah.
I think I had
one
Piper.
of Demolition is like that, and I believe one of LOD is like that.
Yeah, Piper,
Andre was like
I think
that.
Piper had an open hand too, and fingers would pop off.
And Jake the Snake had you pull the arm back and it like had the spring in it.
And I had the toy snake.
Yeah.
I had Damien. Yeah, those toys are fantastic. So yeah, I for us, I mean, there's a little bit of an age difference. I mean, even a couple years makes a difference when you're in school. But I mean, like for me, for the most part, like my middle school was the Attitude Era. So it was at the height of wrestling.
Yeah, that's like when I was in like, I don't know, like 8th grade or something. Before that, like I had a Razor Ramon shirt, but oh, that's wrestling, that's fake. And then the next year, like I came back like after summer, and it was like, well, now NWO was hot and everything.
Yep.
Steve Austin, people like everyone's wearing wrestling shirts. Like, oh, that shirt's cool. You know, it's weird how some people are when it's popular and now it's okay to like it.
Yeah,
but then it's like posers. I hate that, but
I think a lot of my like. It's not a secret that I have a huge T-shirt problem.
Yeah.
I have
I have a ton myself.
And I think a lot of that stems from growing up. Like, the only way you were able to really express yourself growing up was a T-shirt.
Yeah, there was no Twitter or Facebook or nothing. So you could be posting, like sharing, hey, I like this. Or,
and it was a way for a kid like me who didn't fit in or didn't have friends or something. If I wore a Stone Cold shirt or a South Park T-shirt, people were like, oh, you like that too? And it would spark conversation. It was a way in. But it also could be a backfiring. If you wore a shirt too long and you're like, you still wear your 316 shirt?
Which,
like,
I hate that because like,
Yeah.
I still like it. It's still cool, you know?
Yeah, I was diehard wrestling, and then I kind of fell out of love with it, and then I went to mixed martial arts, and then
a lot of people did.
Yeah,
I think that just not to shit on, but the sameness of it kind of like no one like the people that stood out, Rock, Ronda, Connor, like you had them, but then like you didn't have anybody else. Some people are like, oh, this is kind of boring. You know?
Yeah.
But like you care more when there's a character.
Pro wrestling got me into mixed martial arts with Ken Shamrock. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wait a second, this did like real fighting? And then I kind of went from there to taking a huge break and then coming back to wrestling. But now that I'm back, like that nostalgia itch, and then my wrestling shirt collection went to the roof.
Yeah.
Like I like something about wearing a wrestling shirt now. Like, and you go out in public and someone's like,
it's like, oh, so and so.
They look like, it's
like
that
that
Spider-Man meme where you point at each other.
Like you had an Undisputed Era shirt. Like, oh, Undisputed Era.
Yeah. It's something about when you see somebody with a T-shirt on. I know. I love the T-shirt game. I'm a huge shirt guy.
Yeah, I get a bunch myself.
I have some more coming in the mail.
Somebody got to stop. Yeah, you told me. I seen one. It was a cat page, so all the shirts are cat themed, and it was Meowing Evil, and it was Claire and Leon as cats, and Nemesis is a big cat, and instead of a bazooka, he has a big vacuum cleaner. And I was like, I want that. If I went through, there's no PayPal. I'm like, oh, no PayPal. I don't know, so I gotta check that later.
I gotta make sure that's all in the up and up.
Meowing Evil.
I ordered the AEW Super Stadium Showdown
loser shirt.
The loser shirt
for $12.50.
For $12.50.
I want to get that. I was like, do I get that and the Britt Baker shirt? But
I ordered. Well, I still waiting for the Orange Cassidy one.
Oh,
the
wow.
Orange Cassidy and the Jericho bandana. I ordered that weeks ago. That still hasn't.
Yeah, that's the one thing with pro wrestling tees. They're slow.
Well, and it even worse now with the.
Yeah.
I think pro wrestling tees is very similar to Teespring. Where I don't think some of them. I think some shirts they don't have like a big backlog.
Yeah, some they don't have
or
any.
They just print to go.
Yeah, so they wait and they say we have 10 Orange Cassidy, 12 Jericho. Let's put them to the printers. Like I heard like what one does that? Not T Fury. I think they wait. All the orders for the week get done.
That's what
Teespring
on
Friday,
does too.
And I guess they do it over the weekend. They ship it on Monday.
Yeah, that's what Teespring does. So if you have a Teespring page and someone orders a sticker, they're like, all right, we're gonna wait 3 days and then kind of make all your stuff at once and then send it all out.
Which is like I understand, but like pro wrestling tees is getting so big that they should be like, let's make a couple. I understand the indie guys, like that probably don't sell many, but like you should have Jericho shirts. Have 100.
Yeah, they. I mean, I love blue and gold, but a blue and gold shirt versus a Jericho shirt are two. Like, you don't need a shelf full of blue and golds and just wait. Oh, hope someone buys these.
Yeah, like the new FTR shirt, you should have a bunch of them printed on.
Yeah, if you know they're coming, you should have that on deck ready to go. But maybe it's a good thing too that they don't do that, because could you imagine if you had that one employee who was like, you had that one employee who's like, bro, I work for Pro Wrestling Tees, and we have an entire shirt of FTR, and their new names are like, that would be League Central.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully they're not like that Scrump guy and that other guy that like your thing. Like, they seem like they're a tight group, but I mean, there's only so many guys. I get it.
I would listen, man.
But how about free shipping anything over $40? That way, now you're getting 2 shirts right from the people, and send them out for free rather than just getting one shirt for like 30s, whatever.
It's tough, man. I think that would be I would love, like, I should probably just roll the dice and see what happens and message that account and see what happens on Instagram.
Yeah,
I probably will.
I heard that Scrump guy's a cool guy. He was on the one podcast. Yeah, I don't know if that's him.
That would be an interesting question, because like that deters me from ordering stuff sometimes.
Yeah,
because like I love the box, because the box you pay $30, you're getting an autograph, 2 T-shirts, sometimes a comic, a book, a DVD, a pin, and it's all $30. But I order one T-shirt, and then once the shipping comes out, it's like, you're up to $32.
Yeah, and I looked at the one that's just that new Brit one, where it's like looks like Rolling Stones was like leopard, and it's this type of material, like distressed or whatever. Yeah. And that one's what, $29.99
plus the shipping.
So and then you're talking almost $40.
And then you put that little thing on there. It was like, hey, do you want to buy the mystery shirt?
Yeah, for $7.99.
And of course I do. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I've done the mystery shirt now, I think 3 times with them, and all 3 times I got a knock out of the park shirt. Like a shirt that I didn't think I wanted, and then I got it. I'm like, I love it. Like I got a British Bulldog shirt. And then I got the SCU Jacksonville shirt,
that was cool,
from AEW's press conference.
Yeah,
like the birth of that SCU shirt is the birth of AEW.
Yeah,
so I was like, that's awesome that I got that as a random shirt. Like, so they're not just giving you like
crappy ones.
Here's some indie guy you'll never hear of.
Yeah, or some really lame looking shirt.
Which I wouldn't be upset about that either.
Yeah, because it might be somebody really cool.
Yeah, and then you do research on them. I don't know what that vibe. I thought it was like a PayPal account.
Oh, I got something, but it was an Amazon order because I ordered cat food.
this isn't my receipt came out for Patreon through PayPal.
There you go. Patreon.
Yeah, Pro Wrestling Scorecards. Go check it out. That's what my Patreon was. Sometimes I get a PayPal account. I'll get a notification. It's like, is today the day that someone hit that donation link? And it never happens. That's not a shameless plug, but it is there if you're interested.
Donate, like, subscribe,
or go buy a T-shirt. That helps us too.
Link to look above.
Well, speaking of merch, you guys can get your blue and gold shirts over.
Both of them.
Wrestling
They're both
tees.
X-Men themed, but they're both different X-Men. Yeah. So
I reached out to that guy. He's really busy.
really,
right now.
is that what he said? Yeah, he does a lot of work. So he's great work, and he's a real nice guy. So.
Yeah, so if you're out there and you are a graphic designer or you know someone who does logos and they're not going to crush me, let me know. We're looking for a possible new logo for Tornado Tag. I'm debating on doing just the WrestleMania one as our main logo for now, just to kind of make it look different.
Yeah, that's cool. Maybe pick different colors. I don't know.
Yeah, and we'll see how it works out. But I might use that. The only problem is it's longer, so when you try to put it on social media, it doesn't translate as well.
The WrestleMania that Tyson did, they had like the red box, and it was like WrestleMania, something like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. But yeah, so we're all looking for a new logo. But let's get back into the history of here.
Yeah,
I knew this was going to happen. We're just going to take side tangents because that's kind of what we do.
That's good. They'll probably on their shows too. I'm sure. I'm sure Matt Turner gave you a lot of.
Yeah. That was really good, and it's cool because like him being on the show, it was a way for me to learn more about him.
Yeah.
I'm super grateful that
because you know him, but you don't know him well.
Yeah. I only really met him once.
Yeah,
everything's been just watching his work online, and then just now talking to him over the phone a bunch of times because he's really kind of jumped in and joined our team full force, which is awesome. I'm really grateful for that. I think he's a good addition.
Yeah.
So yeah, through middle school, you're getting through your high school years, still diehard wrestling.
Yeah. I remember the one teacher, Mr. Bechtel. Did you go to Potts? No, you didn't go to Potts.
I was Monty area.
Yeah. So he was this big wrestling. He would talk wrestling like that was the more important thing than social studies. He'd talk wrestling first, and sometimes for like 15 minutes. And I was thinking,
get him on a
rant. The people that hate wrestling are like, what the fuck, you know? Yeah. But I loved it, and then like, okay, we do a little bit of work. But I still when I see him today in the grocery store, I still talk wrestling. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, did you do good in that class?
Yeah, I did all right. I mean, I wasn't a student, but I passed. I passed probably. Yeah, probably.
we had a social economics teacher, and I was like, man, I'm gonna fail this class. But then I found out very early if you get him talking on sports and stuff, he won't teach that day.
So just get him, hey, what do you think about that game last night?
Oh, and he'll go the whole class, and he'll be like, oh, the bell rang. Oh, all right, see you later, guys.
That's great.
Yeah. So there was a lot of, and then he'd be like, oh, we have a test. I'm like, but the last 2 weeks you just talked about. The Eagles game, and he's like, "Oh my God, you're right. You know what, guys? We'll just do like a worksheet thing." He's like, "You guys are Votech kids. You're not going to be here the whole year. I'll work with you."
That's great.
But we get him on side tangents. So high school, all through high school. Still,
and I never did wrestling in high school or anything like that because I'm like, that's not the fun wrestling. You know?
I want to hit people with chairs.
Yeah, so I was like, I don't want to do that. That doesn't look interesting to me at all.
At what point did you? Spread your wings and go to like probably the Monday Night Wars when you jumped over to WCW a little bit and seeing WWE.
Yeah, I would watch back and forth. I always watched WWF more at the time, and then from the magazines, ECW used to come on one cable access channel. We had 7 Time Warner Cable,
really late at night.
Yeah, there was like 7 was it was like local news. It would come on, but like local news, like just text on the screen. But it was like Thursdays at 9 p.m. They started playing ECW, and I'd watch it like this is awesome, and it was uncensored. I was like, how. Like now, that would never fly.
No, yeah, I remember.
I don't know how it flowed then. I guess they just said, "Oh, wrestling, put it on."
I seen boobs on it one time, and I was like looking around the house, like making sure no one's seen what I saw. I was
what? Shane Douglas was saying shit. I'm like, what is? And they're like, when you're like 13 or 12, like this is awesome.
Bubba's cutting promos on the crowd.
Yeah.
You mother. Yeah, it's like whoa.
Yeah, so that's how I learned ECW, and again the wrestling magazines. I had no idea, and again there was no internet. Like I think, man, if I had access to the internet, I would have watched all this wrestling, all the Japanese and the Mexican, everything I could have.
Yeah,
devoured.
I did. ECW is probably the first promotion that wasn't WWE that I followed.
Yeah, and
the main reason I did that is because. Like, as a kid, when everyone jumped ship to go to WCW, I felt like I was betrayed. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, no, I'm not watching it. Like, they left here. F them. I don't want to. I don't care about WCW. And then my friends would talk about it, and I'm like, well, what should I watch? He's like, oh, there's this guy Sting, and he paints himself like the Crow. I'm like, not interested. I'm like, this guy Goldberg. I'm like, oh, it's Stone Cold on steroids. Not interested. Like, he goes out and beats everybody in 2 moves.
Yeah, I never was a Goldberg fan. Yeah, I was kind of upset when Razor Ramon went there. So I'm like, oh, Scott Hall.
Yeah, and then And then when they're like, oh, there's this guy named DDP, and he caught my attention.
Yeah.
And then like Raven caught my attention, but then I didn't know Raven was an ECW guy first because I caught ECW later on, and then I started watching ECW and I was like, "This is awesome!" Because these are all fresh faces. There's no one.
It was all new, and it was like counterculture, and just like, wow, this is like uncensored and raw, and
I love Tommy. It
was so
Dreamer.
cool. Yeah.
I was a huge Tommy Dreamer fan. Like to me, Tommy Dreamer was the face of ECW.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, and then like him and RVD. Like I did like Taz, I did like Sabu,
the Sandman,
and Sandman, but. When Tommy Dreamer was out there, he was like a superhero. He was like the big baby face.
Yeah, he was like their Hogan, I guess you'd say.
And he was like one of the first baby faces that I liked because I normally wasn't a babyface fan.
Yeah. But he wasn't like squeaky clean. I mean, when he first started way back, he was. That's like 92, 93.
Yeah.
But then he became the innovator of violence. Then But yeah, ECW was great.
Yeah.
Like going to one of them shows, I was lucky enough to go to like 3 or 4. Back in the day, like real ECW, and it was awesome. And it was like $20. The shirts were $15. I saved up money. I bought 3 shirts at the one. I was like, this is the best ever. But
I seen an ECW show in Shenandoah Valley High School.
Oh wow!
But it wasn't booked as an ECW.
Oh, okay,
show.
It was like some ECW guys, but not ECW.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the main event was well, it wouldn't be Chainsaw Charlie. It would be
Terry Funk.
Terry Funk. I don't know why I had a brain fart there. Terry Funk versus Abdul the Butcher.
Oh God!
In a Falls Counts Anywhere steel cage match.
Which makes no sense.
Not at all. It was just an excuse to put a cage in an indie show. They brawled everywhere, and I remember the show for the most part was completely PG. Like it wasn't crazy at all, and there was some names there. Like Bam Bam Bigelow was there, but he didn't go as Bam Bam Bigelow. Tito Santana was there.
So it was like an indie for back in the day.
Yeah,
whoever.
Jim the Anvil Neidhart was there. So it was like an indie show, but
they brought in a lot of names.
But the main attraction was like an ECW style match. So yeah, it had Jim the Anvil Neidhart. There was a bunch of people there. Like it had some names, and then the very main event was Abdul versus Terry, and the match starts and they're fighting, hitting each other off the cage a little bit. No blood, just looks like a typical cage match. And the whole time you're like, this big fat dude's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
But he was pretty athletic. Abdul he was good. He pulls the fork out and he goes to hit Terry, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's like I kind of knew it. It was kind of spots, and and I didn't know how crazy these two were willing to go.
Yeah.
And then he kicks him in the gut, like a teep kick to the gut, pulls the fork out of his hand, and then buries it in Abdul's head.
Yeah, that was Abdul's thing, just bleed out of his head.
And he landed flat in his back. And it wasn't like he was holding the fork. Like, actually, he did it first. So he held the fork like, oh, my God. And I'm like, he's holding it. Like, it's not really in his skull. And then he lands, he lets go of the fork and falls, takes a flat bump on his back. And the fork is sticking straight out of his head. And blood is spraying out of his head. All I remember is the entire place gasped. It was like, oh, what? And like people were grabbing their kids. They were running out. They were cursing, screaming. The other people in the crowd were chanting, holy shit, and like getting like ECW chants going.
That's like something like, not at a school, but like at some nightclub or bar. Yeah, go ahead and do it.
Oh my God. You ever been to Shenandoah Valley's gym?
Yeah, I actually wrestled there one time.
You know how it says on the top where it says, welcome to Shenandoah Valley, home of the Blue Devils? Him and Abdul wrestle up the bleachers.
Oh boy.
And they slam each other off the wall. There's big bloody Abdul body print on the wall.
They didn't care.
And at the time, no one knew he like had Hep C and all these different blood diseases. He wrestled all over, like in the main lobby where all the trophies are for the school. They wrestled there. They wrestled in the bathroom. God. They literally tracked blood all over Shenandoah Valley.
Terry Funk, come on now, Abby, I'm gonna take you over here and punch you right in the face.
We're gonna bring it home.
Goddamn, you got blood all over my tights, Abby.
So they. Needless to say, we never had wrestling. It was the last time that high school wrestlers, like high schools, had wrestling shows.
Yeah,
because Monte Area used to have them all the time.
Yeah, I know the Shenandoah one. That's the one that's across from the firehouse, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw the PCWA had one show there, and that was like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
So that was the one time, I guess, since that time that they had wrestling. That was it.
They were probably like, "Yo, you can't do anything."
Yeah,
silly.
and it was just this normal straight show.
I'm not trying to speak ill of the dead, but that night is the night. The rumors. We'll just say rumors. Wink, wink. Jim went to the bar across from Boyer's. Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
Oh, okay.
And he. We'll just say he partied all night.
I believe
with a lot of people from Shenandoah.
Oh God! Yeah. But hell of a night.
Yeah, I just remember when I met him, he was very aggressive and very strong.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is Jim the Anvil Neidhart. This is awesome. And there's a picture of me and my buddy Billy in a double chokehold, and he's taking a picture with us screaming.
Yeah.
And I'm literally about to pass out. He legit has me in a choke.
Yeah, like, I'll show this kid.
My eyes are popping out of my head. But I was super happy to meet him. I remember my dad being like, he was really excited to see Tito Santana. Like,
wow.
What was Tito? Oh, sorry.
Matador.
What was her tag team?
Strike Force.
Strike Force.
Yeah.
And it kind of looked like the Hot Rod shirt a little bit. Yeah,
like I wore one. It was a white shirt. It was pretty cool. Him and Rick Martel.
Yeah. I remember my dad was like, oh my God, he was part of a team called Strike Force I was a big fan of. Like, I remember my dad.
They were pretty hot in the 80s.
Yeah.
And they're kind of grooming them to be more, but then I think Rick Martel left and came back. And,
yeah. Well, he came back as a heel.
Yeah, he's the model, yeah.
Yeah, the model, yeah.
And Tito stayed the whole time, but Tito never really got anywhere. Not that he was not good.
He was like a mid-card babyface.
He couldn't cut a promo.
Yeah.
I mean, he could speak English, like, fully, but he just couldn't talk.
Yeah. He was ahead of his time, though, Tito. He was like flying.
And Rick Martel was real good, too.
Yeah,
but another one that he had that thick French accent, and Vince didn't like it, so.
Yeah.
That's why he didn't get too far.
Yeah, so that was like, I mean, did Pottsville have shows like that, where they would come to the schools?
They had one in the middle school, but I didn't go. So I think in 94, somewhere around there, 93.
Do you remember who the names were?
No, I couldn't tell you. I think they might have had one in the 80s, too. Someone said Hogan was there. And I was like,
really?
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I'm like, that middle school,
Could
I don't know
you
if you've
imagine
ever
if
seen
Mars Hall
huge.
let wrestling shows in there?
Yeah, Mars Hall is
awesome
huge.
That would be.
And they can make tons of money. Enough money where, go ahead, fuck the floor up. Because we'll just buy a whole new one.
Yeah.
Because that could sit.
You could put
5,000?
Realistically, you could put an AEW show in there.
You could, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because if you didn't put the bleachers on, just put chairs in the bottom where the basketball court is, and then just get a mat to roll over, and all them bleachers like that.
Oh my God, how sick would that be?
Like the school is so.
And then you have the tunnels that come out. Like that could be like the. Oh my God.
Yeah, they're so funny about we can't break the floor, we can't break.
I
this.
get it.
And
Like it's a huge draw for them because they use it for stage. But like, just put that little mat down and.
Let's say they had wrestling there every 4 months.
It'd be
Come
huge.
on, the money they'd make.
It'd be huge.
And that they got the concession stand going, but they probably wouldn't. But like they don't know what they have. A lot of local people don't.
Oh my God, it would be massive.
Yeah, it's not like they're on parking. Plenty of parking.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Cut some money. They make tons of money. I mean, I don't know.
When Montieri had it, they had. That's when I was a kid. I told a story on the podcast every time. King Kong Bundy was in Montieri. I met Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Doink the Clown, Papa Shango was there. That they're the only ones that are coming to my head at the moment. But I just remember like Duggan was a big deal for me. I was like, oh, that's Duggan. I kind of always got into the gimmicky stuff. Papa Shango was terrifying.
I know there was a show at the school here because I knew the one guy that ran it, and he had Jerry Lawler. I think he wrestled the Axe from Demolition.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and the one had the LOD.
Really?
Both when they were when Hawk was still alive. It was some indie show. What was his name? His name's Brian. I forget. He had some gimmicky name, but he was a promoter like mid 90s.
Yeah,
he was telling me one time.
So out of high school, college, any post secondary school?
Nope. I hated high school, and I didn't fit in either. I wasn't like a super loser.
Yeah,
but I wasn't a popular by any means. So once high school was over, I was just so happy to be out of there because I absolutely hated it.
Did you experience bullying or anything?
Not, I mean a little, but no more than normal.
How would you handle that? Would you kind of just because you seem like you're like. What's like a water off a duck's back? Like, I feel like you just let a lot of things go, and you're like, I don't care what you think. Walk away.
I don't know. It was probably the same,
Yeah.
Like I don't ever really remember getting any fights at all. So I mean, it wasn't what I am now, but I mean,
yeah.
Like I would like to go back and if I could just go back and pick up some little skinny and just throw him down the hole. Like what the hell? But no, I never I couldn't be like, oh, Bobby Thompson used to beat the shit out of me if there was a Bobby Thompson. No, nothing like that. I just hate it. I absolutely hate it.
It just felt like you didn't fit in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, these are people I would never talk to on a normal basis. And it's weird because once you're out of high school and it's like real life and it's like, wow, that was like, that world is only that world.
Yeah.
And everything else is different.
That's why I always
people respect you. Like, you go to a job, no one's like, oh, fuck him, I mean, you get that a little, but I mean, you don't get that right off the bat.
That's why I tell kids all the time, like, I know we have shockingly, we have children who listen to us because we do curse sometimes, but you're not hearing anything you're not hearing from TV or your parents. But I tell kids a lot, like, listen, man, like, if you're getting picked on, you're getting bullied, especially if you're getting bullied for being a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
that
or any type of fan.
or anything. Yeah, if you're a fan of anything, be a fan.
Yeah,
who cares what people think?
That's one of the things. Like I didn't know to express it at the time, but people were like, "Well, you're stupid because you like this." I'm like, "Well, who cares?
Yeah.
I don't have to like the same thing that everyone else likes. That you are only liking because you're told to like it."
And that section of your life goes so quick.
Yeah, and once you're out, I was just like, "Thank God!" And I was like, "Wow, that was so dumb."
It's
and
crazy for me because like I'm still very in touch with kids I went to school with, and some of the kids I'm really cool with now. We weren't very cool in high school, or either they thought we were cool, but I kind of seen them as like out of my social status, so I didn't really hang out with them. But like now they see me, they're like, "Hey man, what's up?" Like, remember we were in high school? I was like, no, because I was never invited.
Like,
you know what I mean?
Like, I didn't go to any of these parties.
Like, I'm not holding a grudge against them now, but it was like we weren't like. At least if you think that way, it wasn't the same
I think
feeling
some people
for
look
me.
back rose-colored glasses,
Yeah.
you know, and then nostalgia. Like then people that say high school is the best time of life. Like, well, you must have a shitty life.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know. My life, I would say, it greatly got better after high school. You know, you work and
just stick through it. It goes quick.
Yeah, and you're out and it's done. And you know, college I would assume was different, but I didn't go to no college.
You just went right to the workforce.
Yeah, I got a job and just. You know, I worked at the hospital, like it was the kitchen, but it was like receiving stuff.
Yeah.
So it was okay. And but I didn't know anything about like wanting, like starting to wrestle. I knew nothing. Like I wish I knew 1/8 of what I know now, because it would have been better then. I mean, not so much me wrestling, but just connections.
Yeah.
You know, because I knew nothing. So trying to start, I was like, I'd like to do this. People are like, oh, you're too small. You know, and like first everyone sees Hogan and Warner, and I think the giants that wrestle.
Yeah.
But so
how did you find out your first wrestling school, and where was it?
Yeah, so I was thinking like I would search on the internet, and someone like we're in Philly. I was like, do I want to drive that far? Because I would say I didn't make much money. You know, maybe I was getting 10 an hour. So, you know, I seen a couple the Wild Samoans. I seen that one in it was in Allentown at the time.
Oh, so they weren't in Hazleton anymore.
When they were in Hazleton, I was like, well, that would be, but I was like, oh, the Samoans will beat the shit out of me. Like I don't know, like maybe, but it was still like it wasn't like back in the 80s or the early 90s. It was still like a little bit hard to get into.
I remember
it wasn't like now. We're like, oh yeah, come to my training center. I'll show you around.
I remember seeing a video. My Uncle Steve, who passed away. One of his ways of he tried to connect with me one time, because I remember I was kind of like I was a weird kid, like you know what I mean. But he was like, oh, he did make attempts to connect, and I do appreciate that now that I'm older. But one of the ways he did that was like he went to work. He knew I was a big wrestling fan, and he went to work, and I guess he talked to this one guy at his job, and his buddy was like, yo, I'm a wrestler, and he's like, really? He's like, yeah, I have tapes of me wrestling, and and he's telling me, and I guess he wrestled one of the Samoans, and it might have even been the Samoans and Jimmy Snuka, or vice versa, because they are all like part of the family. And he was like, yeah, I have a tape of it. And he goes, can I borrow the tape? Like, my nephew comes over all the time. It would be really cool if like we can sit down and watch it.
Yeah.
So he's telling me, and he's like, yo, this guy I work with, like, and he's bumping his dude he works with up to like this grand level.
So you're thinking,
and I'm just like, well,
superstars.
What's his name? And he's like, he told me, and I was like, and he goes, you ever hear of him? I'm like, never. And he's like, well, he was on Raw a couple times too, or he was on like WWE, and I was like, no idea.
His name is Tom Washington.
So then I guess in the tape he had like a few different matches on one VHS tape. Yeah. So the first match was him on like a Raw or a Saturday main event.
Okay,
and he was and I'm like, and I was just like, and this is me as a kid, and I'm like, your buddy's a jobber. And he goes, what does that mean? And I was like, he's going to get killed.
Yeah, he's just a loser. Especially when they come out and they just give him the no music, just like there's like...
He's already in the ring? Yeah. So...
Brian Johnson. And he's like... puts his arms up and you're like, oh, look at this loser. Yeah, and a lot of times they had like, I think they would tell him like, get lame looking gear and just look lame.
Just put tights on.
Yeah, don't look impressive at all. Yeah. And just have, this guy beat the shit out of you.
And then the second one was kind of like an indie show, and he was, I don't remember if it was a coconut or a pineapple, but he took a spot where he got hit in I think it was a pineapple, and one of the Samoans or or Snuka or somebody laid into him with a pineapple to try to break it over his head, and it didn't even crack.
Do you remember this guy's name?
No, but it split him wide open. Wow. And my uncle was like, oh my god, like,
Don't look-
I'm like, this guy's awesome. He just took a pineapple from Jimmy Snuka.
Yeah, that's like back in the day where some of the names I didn't care. You know,
Yeah.
you just start out. I'll beat this little greenhorn up. Like, so.
Yeah, I just remember my uncle showing me that tape, and I was just blown
Oh,
away.
man.
I was like,
Let's get that tape and watch it now. Let's see if I know the guy, because it's weird. Because like the little bit of indie shows I went to,
I think it was one of those deals where he borrowed it from work
okay,
and then
yeah.
brought it back to him because that guy's VHS tape is like his life.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That was the time.
I bet he was so proud of that.
Yeah, like that was the time he was on Sunday Main Event or something.
Like the little bit of indie shows I went to, because there wasn't many back then around here anyway.
Yeah.
There was some. There was FWA, Future Wrestling Alliance. I actually bought the DVD. For this DVD, it has everything. Just because I was at some shows, like that's so cool. I would try like find the guys. Now once I got into business, like who are these?
Yeah.
And like the one guy I went up to one time, I was wrestling in Reading. I know I'm jumping around here, and I went up to his name was Dave Dutch, and that was his real name. He was like Dave Patera. He was like the brother of the other Patera that was wrestling. He's like so that was his gimmick, like Olympic wrestler or whatever.
Yeah.
Kind of before Kurt Angle. And I went up to him, I said, "Hey, man," I was like, "I went to a show in Fort Carbon, and you were there." And then it was like, FWA. He's like, "Oh yeah, really?" And then he's like, "Well, I run my own federation." And like, well, maybe not that time. I think like he's like, "You remember me?" And then he started running, and they started booking me. So I was like, "Wow!" And then there's another guy there, Pat Shamrock, and I was like, I said to him, I was like, "Remember? You probably remember?" And I asked you to hold the title, like, and I was like, "Yeah, tag belt." So that was pretty cool that I actually got to meet some of these people, and like some I know, like wow,
Yeah.
like the hat guy and everything. So
Oh, that happens to us now. Like we go to an indie show and then we see them pop up on TV as like an extra.
Yeah.
On Raw.
I mean,
We're like, that's
yeah,
our buddy.
Yeah. And it's even these guys like, and then like they're retired, but they're still like booking them. Like, "Hey, I've seen you at a show." Like, and, like one was that was like 15 years ago.
My first experience with that recently was Draven.
Okay, yeah.
Like fresh out of high school, we went to his wrestling school.
Okay.
I only lasted like 2 practices because the guys I went with, like they didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And then the one older brother still kept doing it, but it was like, oh, the one guy I wanted to do it with doesn't want to do it anymore, so we all kind of backed out. But yeah, Draven had his school, and then I remember like I always thought like, what happened to that guy?
Yeah.
And then he showed up at a PPW show, and I was like, holy shit!
Yeah, yeah. I know he took a break for a while. I know he has a ton of kids, but yeah, and he's pretty good. You know?
He is good. Yeah, he has a good look too. But yeah, all right. So your first wrestling school?
Yeah, yeah. So
We're Tarantino on this.
yeah, I was yeah, and then I died. Yeah, so I look on the internet at the time, and I don't know if I knew about Chikara yet. I eventually went there a little bit. But I would search for ones locally. I was like, well, I don't want to drive too far. But then I was like, the only ones like were like Philly and stuff. I was like, I guess I will have to drive far.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't I don't know, figure in like how much it would cost. I found one. It was actually in where was it at? Hagerstown, Maryland. I was like, wow. I forget the name. It was like House of Pain Wrestling Federation. Remember the old name, like Geocity's website? That's kind of like what it was. GeoCities, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like House of Pain Wrestling Federation, and then like NWF or something. The guy, like the main trainer's name was John Rambo because he looked like Rambo. I'm like, oh god. But I was like, well, it's something, you know. And it was like, yeah, we'll train you for like $500 or something like that. And I'm like, well, I didn't know nothing, you know, if it's good or bad. And it was kind of the shits. But I remember driving down. It was like 2 hours, a little over to get there. But I was like, and he's like, well, yeah, come down every Tuesday and Thursday, and then help with the shows on Saturday. I'm like, well, I can't do all that. I mean, I don't make that much money. So I think I would go down Tuesdays or Thursdays. I was there maybe for like a month because like he would be there, and like I remember like he rented a building, and the ring was in the bottom, and it was like this little like it was almost like a little arena. Like it had all the posters on the wall, looked cool, and there was like a little room off to the side, and it was like weights and stuff. And I remember the one guy that was training there, his name was Pretty Boy Chris Klein, and the gimmick was he was real ugly. So like, I was like, oh, he's Pretty Boy. Like I don't know anything, I can't say nothing. But he was renting out the side room as an apartment. I was like, that's a little weird. Like he's living here, and like I know like upstairs there was like an apartment. There was like a VFW or something. I was like, little strange. And like the trainer guy would be there, and then he would leave, and I'm like, okay, they'll train you for a little bit. Like the students are gonna train me? This doesn't seem right. There's another guy named this is a wrestler named Jonathan Empire, and he was like kind of cool. The Chris guy was a little bit of a dick, and there was a couple other people I don't even remember. One guy's name was Jerkface. I'm like,
Jerkface.
Yeah, so this is like early 2000s.
What type of training would you get there? Just like how to take bombs?
Yeah,
how
it was
to
the
run
basics
ropes?
of the basics, you know. Maybe we did an arm drag and hip toss and stuff, but I didn't know anything. And I'm like, and then like when the trainer guy, the John Rambo, would leave, and like I know nothing. Like you're just gonna fit. We're gonna do some moves here. Like I don't know what I'm doing. So like I went there for a little bit, but like man, 2 hours down and back, and that sucked.
Yeah.
And like especially I felt like this is kind of the shit. It's like I knew enough to be like, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
So like, it's been that John Rambo, like people respect him. He don't wrestle anymore, obviously. And they were in like little indie shows in the Maryland area, and they would do shows out of the training camp, or the training area for free. I think they were Thursdays or something. They would do like a show like around every other Saturday. So I went to a couple, but I was like, yeah, and it's like I don't know, like I'm learning, but I'm not. And then I stopped, and I was like, well, I still want to do it. And then I was at some concert or something, local concert. And it was at the Ambets in Pottsville, and then the one guy was there like, oh, my friends wrestle up in somewhere, Jersey Shore, PA. I was like, oh, they wrestle? I was like, well, can you tell me one of them? And then I got the name of the one guy who used to wrestle as Cole Calloway, who he had a like over the top gay gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you definitely want to fly now, but the 2005. So
yeah.
So him, and then there was a guy named Bruce Maxwell wrestled in CZW with a tag team called The Best Around with it was TJ. I don't know, his partner used to do it real cool. He would do a shooting star into double stomp.
Wow.
Yeah, he called it the markout moment.
Holy shit.
Yeah. TJ, I forget his last name. He doesn't wrestle anymore. No, basically, none of these guys wrestle anymore.
A shooting star to a foot stomp is
crazy.
Yeah.
So they were like, so CZW like 2006, 2007, they were the best around. I still have one of their shirts. It's like, and they used to come out to the song from Karate Kid. You're the best around.
Yeah.
Take that. And it says like the look, the talent, the best, and then the back around.
That's a great
I'll have
shirt.
to wear it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
still
awesome.
kept it. But yeah, so I got in touch with them. I think I messaged them on MySpace at the time.
Oh.
Yeah. So I trained with them for a little bit with Jersey Shore, but that's like 2 hours that way up in, it's like above, like to the northwest of Williamsport. So I was actually learning from them. They didn't really charge me anything. So yeah. So I learned a little bit there from Bruce Maxwell. There's another guy, Cody Adams, who doesn't really wrestle, and they knew Draven. So that's how.
His was at a what? Was it in Hamburg or?
I don't somewhere. No, he was like from Tamaqua area, but past that Lansford somewhere.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah. Summit Hill.
Mm-hmm.
I know they used to run out there. So that's how like EGW.
Well, I remember the venue. I don't remember exactly where, but the venue had like a balcony.
Oh, that was in Summit Hill. Yeah,
That was awesome.
I think they tore the building down now.
Really?
That was I bet you back in the day that was an awesome place.
It had like a stage.
Yeah,
and then it had
and a
two
balcony,
balconies.
yeah.
I think maybe one or two balconies.
Yeah, I think it was
spots.
two. Yeah,
Yeah.
It was run down at the time, but man, I bet you back in the 70s that was awesome.
Yeah.
But that was EGW. So they actually wrestled for EGW because they knew Draven. That's how I met Draven, and I started there. So that's we were probably like 2006, 2007. And then I was like, well, this is good. And I'm learning a little bit. But that's when I was like, I knew the one guy who was training Chikara. And then I went and I helped hand out flyers once or something. And they said, well, you can come to a training for free. One training center.
Because you helped.
Yeah. And that's what Quackenbush was running at the time. It was Chris Hero training. And I was like, this is awesome. And then I was like, well, can I come here? And then they I think it was like 2,000 or 1,500 or something. So then I actually trained there for like 3 months. But again, I wasn't making much money. And the drive the arena in Philly, it was Wednesday and Tuesday or something like that. I forget. I was in the beginner class. My for a little bit, he's like, I'm going to put you in advanced class. So what did I tell you who was in the advanced class? But I was like, okay, cool. But so I would just drive down Tuesday. But I'd have to drive down to the arena and help with the ring and stuff, which was okay. But a lot of them guys lived in Philly. So they wouldn't have to drive they're there in 20 minutes. I'm there like 2 hours. And then they go to set up the ring and bring it down, which I was okay with, but then come back and I think I am only making like $10 an hour. I can't be driving down to Philly, then to the show, then back to the show, and then giving people rides to the airport and stuff like that. So I was like, I understand paying my dues, which I'm cool with. I'll put the ring up all day long. I used to be the music guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have much money, so I wasn't getting paid anything. That's the only thing I kind of can't do. That's why I eventually stopped, because $10 an hour don't go very far when you have a car payment.
It was a money thing that kind of held you back. Yeah, that sucks.
So that's when I just stopped, and I was like, well, I probably can't go back. So that's why I never really got in touch with him again. But in the advanced class at the time, there would be some guys that would come in. So the Syrian Portal was there. Deshaun was there.
Do you and Deshaun remember each other from that time?
Yes, that's how I met him. Yeah, Tim Donst.
I'm very high into Sean. So he's a good human.
Yeah, he's a good guy, and he's very good in the ring too.
Yeah,
and his partner Ophidian was there. Orange Cassidy was there sometimes. Hollow Wicket, Delirious, and then Chris Hero left as the trainer, and Claudio was the trainer, Cesaro.
Yeah,
so that's how I met Cesaro, Claudio, and then his girlfriend Sarah Del Rey, Sarah Model, who trains all the girls down in XT.
Yeah,
she was there, and then Mike Quackenbush, of course. Sol Durant, who went on to be Drew Gulak, he was in and out. His little brother Roy Gulak, who had a little problem with I believe some type of porno recently.
Oh really?
Yeah, but I think he's kind of blacklisted. But I'll tell you then. I don't want to get into it.
Yeah.
But he was there. I mean, a lot of people at the shows back at the time. Chuck Taylor,
He's so
Generico, who I don't know what happened to him.
yeah. He didn't just
Sami Zayn.
disappear.
Yeah, he died.
He died.
All the people that would come through there. I don't think I was on one of the shows with the Young Bucks.
Chuck Taylor's not the one with the beard, right?
He's the one, the other guy.
The one that pulls up on people. Like he used to pull up on kids in the
crowd.
Yeah,
and he used to do the invisible hand grenade.
It's so funny.
And there was just so many people there at the time that I got to wrestle practice matches and stuff with. A lot of the guys never left Chikara, Ultraman is Black, Hollow Wicked, but they're just really good wrestlers. What was his little buddy? Not Frightmare. So yeah, there was a bunch.
Did you ever get in the ring with Orange Cassidy or any of those guys? Like actually
in the training practice? Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It was there a moment when you like?
I mean, I couldn't tell you what we did.
Yeah.
Probably just drill. We do a lot of drills, so it'd be like you get in, you do a drop down, and then somebody goes over you, and then you reverse, then you get out of the ring. Stuff like that. So I did that with all kinds of people.
When you show up at a place like that and you start running drills and you start doing stuff with guys, you immediately look around like I'm in a different league here.
Yeah, like so. Wow, and like I remember one time we did something, and Claudio picks me up. I'm like, he just did that with no. He could just do whatever he wants to me right now.
Yeah.
He would throw me, 20 feet.
You fell in love a little bit.
Yeah, and I was like, this is insane. Like. Up in the air.
Well, how did Claudio end up doing a promotion in Pine Grove? Is that?
Yeah, so that was right before he went to WWE, and he's still taking indie bookings, and they just, I guess, reached out to him, like how anything, and then brought him in.
And you worked with that
Yes,
night?
yeah, it was me.
Were you like, you remember me from Chikara?
Yeah, and he did a little bit, but not as much, because I was only there like 3 months. That was
Yeah.
a couple years later. So, and how many people does he meet?
Yeah.
And another guy named Aaron Arbo. He was really good. He kind of retired because he had a couple of kids. And
Yeah.
just lost interest in it.
It's just, man, he's a guy too. Like, I'm at the point now with WWE is I like WWE for their roster.
Yeah.
As a company, I struggle.
Yeah,
I struggle supporting them.
Yeah, it's hard.
I mean, listen, they do great things with like Connor's Cure, and they do like the Warrior Award and stuff. But like some of the things they do to their talent is just grimy. And I get like business is business, but it's just not the way.
Sometimes it's underhanded.
Yeah.
I mean, like to let people go during the pandemic of all times,
and then make a storyline out of it.
Yeah, and then who knows? They might still let them go. And it's like, I don't know. It's not the way I would go about things.
No. But then you have a guy like Cesaro who you're literally doing like he's one of the best in the world, and you're doing nothing with him.
Yeah, consistently nothing. Like, we'll give you a little bone here.
He literally lost his teeth for you.
Yeah,
and you're like, nah.
Like they could do so much more with him. And it's like, I'm sure he'd probably get paid real good, but like, man, if he left and just
anywhere,
yeah,
he'd be a superstar.
A big
superstar.
Especially since Chris Hero left, they can reform the Kings of Wrestling, which they were a great tag team.
I seen old, and this is not me being like a dick or body shaming or anything. Because listen, I'm no Adonis over here, but like I seen old videos of Chris Hero and had no idea it was him.
Yeah,
because how he like when he was in NXT, he put a little weight on.
It was weird because when he started, he was kind of fat, and he used to wear like this. They used to always make fun of gear, like the baggy pants and like a. It was, sometimes he had the tank top like spandex, but it was like a baggy shirt too. But then he lost weight. And he looked awesome. He went to trunks when they were tagging in ROH. Him and Claudio.
Yeah, he looked really
phenomenal.
good in ROH.
He looked phenomenal. Yeah. And then of course he gained weight. I mean, who knows why or whatever.
Maybe he just struggles.
I mean, he's still a great wrestler. He's so good. But yeah, you wouldn't even know. I remember I showed Mark Reese's husband. I was like, he's like, oh, Hash Stone's pretty cool. I'm like, let me show you a picture of him from like 2012. And he's like, that's not him. I'm like, yes, it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Someone said if you should look at pictures like the Blue Meanie at one point in time. He'd lost a lot of weight.
He had a promotion after ECW went down called 3PW. And I was like, wow, I can wrestle there. And then went out of business right before I started. And he got real slim, and he was dating Jasmine St. Clair at the time, the porn star. Yeah. So I was like, wow, that was probably the highlight. That was like the best couple years of his life.
I'll tell you what, man. You get to meet a lot of guys. I've never ever heard anyone ever say an ill thing about the Blue Meanie.
Nice guy, yeah.
He's just a sweetheart.
Yeah.
I seen him. So when we were, it's so strange. Me and Heidi were sitting in the Philadelphia airport waiting to go to Vegas. And I remember we took there's a selfie we took, and in the back of the selfie, you can kind of see him, like the back of his head. Mm-hmm. And I look at the selfie now, I'm like, that's hilarious, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
So then they're like, oh, your flight, everyone get up and start lining up. So I stand up to stretch, and I turn around, and like right behind where we were boarding was a McDonald's. And it was just like a lobby of McDonald's, and all that was between us sitting for our plane was like a divider, and then like right on the other side of the divider was his chair where he was sitting and eating. And I got up and I stretched and I turned, and we like make eye contact. And this is after I met him at the show in the Humane Fire Company in Pottsville. And I was like, no way he's gonna remember me. I mean, we were idiots that night, but there's no way he remembers me. And I was like, and I don't want, like, I wasn't gonna be like, hey,
You remember me from the airport?
So I was like, holy shit, it's the Blue Meanie. And he's like, hey man. And I was like, hey, I'm just like, dude, you're awesome, huge, big fan, you know. And I'm not someone like, can I get your picture? Can I get an autograph? So I was like, yeah, you probably don't remember me, man, but you did a show in Pottsville at a fire company. Yeah. And he's like, I vaguely remember that. And I was like, yeah, we were trying to pay you to chop my friend. We were trying to get him to chop Dave, and he's like, okay, that's starting to come together a little bit. And he goes, I remember I wouldn't do it. I'm like, no, I 100% wouldn't do it. And
that's like Lawsuit City.
Yeah, and then what was it? What did he? I forget what ended up happening. But he did a gimmick picture where he like acted like he was punching Dave.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah.
And then like I remember I bought the BWO shirt from him, and it was like a size or too small. But I was like, I'm gonna own it because
I bought one from him. I think I went up to that show and I was like, hey man, can I get a BWO shirt? I told him, I was like, when I went to an ECW show in Jim Thorpe, I bought 3 T-shirts, and it was like ECF and W, the regular ECW one, and I bought a BW shirt. He's like, thanks, man.
BW was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
So, and then I was like, that's why I got to buy one off you. And I have one now.
So that BWO shirt ends up becoming a little piece of history for me because Fox teamed with the Blue Meanie, and he's like, I'm not going to fit into this. I'm like, I know you're not going to fit in it. I'm like, dude, if you have to like Scott Hall it and cut it and just wear it as like a poncho, I said, do whatever you have to do to cut it. And then I said to him, like, just do me a favor, can you get the Blue Meanie to sign it? Yeah. And then I went to hand to him, like, you don't have to worry about the autograph, because I just remembered it's already, you can't see it because it's a blue marker on a blue shirt. Oh, God. But the Blue Meanie did sign it, and then, so he wore it in the ring with the Blue Meanie and teamed with
That's
them.
pretty cool, yeah.
And then at the very end of the match, in typical Fox fashion, he rubs his face paint all over it, and then he puts it under his armpits, and then he throws it at me.
Oh, boy.
I didn't wash it. And then he came back and like, can you sign this for me? He's like, really? I was like, yeah. So like, it was I bought it from the Blue Meanie, and then it was used in a match with the Blue Meanie.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was like, that's awesome. I'm like, I like that. Like, I still have the it's upstairs. It's hanging out.
That's a cool collectible.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Because you said you've seen it.
Yeah,
it's not like you bought like bring used shirt and like, oh, buy that.
Yeah, you can buy it. It's autographed by the Blue Meanie. It was in a match with Blue Meanie, and it has Fox's face paint and armpit on it.
Yeah, so that is cool.
Yeah, but he's a super nice guy. But yeah, we talked for a little bit, and I guess they were going to Vegas for a convention, and I guess the convention was like this program they do of like when wrestlers get hurt or they fall on hard times.
Oh, the Cauliflower Island Club.
I think so.
Yes.
He didn't say the name of it.
But they collect money. It's kind of like a banquet thing, and then they help out money wrestlers that are.
And he said
are
this
suffering.
year in Vegas, it's a big conference, and it was the year that they were going to honor Shawn Michaels.
Okay.
So I was like, are you telling me I'm in Vegas the same time Shawn Michaels is? Yeah. And then like the whole time I'm like walking around like, oh my God, if I see Shawn Michaels, I'm going to shit my pants. And then the whole time I'm there, I'm like, man, I don't see any wrestlers. Like you would think, like they're doing this, and I didn't pry. I'm like, well, where is it gonna be? Yeah. You know what I mean? And even if he did tell me, I probably wouldn't go.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have went and creeped and stuff. Like this is not my thing. But we were walking around the one casino, and the casino is like it's supposed to be like Italy. Like it literally looks like Italy. Yeah. And then like you look like you're walking outdoors, and it looks like it rains, and rains in the building inside this pond. It's crazy. Like they have sprinklers in the ceiling, and there's a Ben and Jerry's. So we were walking in Ben and Jerry's, and as we were walking out, the Blue Meanie was walking in. I'm like, hey, it's you again. He's like, oh, what's going on, man? And then we kind of like high-fived and walked away. Like super cool dude, man. Yeah, really cool guy.
I never got to wrestle him. We came close, but I never got to actually wrestle him.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you were on the show.
Yeah, I was on a couple shows with him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, never in the same match with him.
Anytime he's on a local show, I'll be there.
Yeah.
'Cause I think he's a good dude. He's someone that deserves respect. And it's just a shame the only thing that a lot of people remember him for is when...
Getting punched by JBL.
When he got shot on by JBL.
But then at least they gave him that thing where then they beat the hell out of JBL then. I mean,
Stevie Richards, that chair shot he hit him with.
He was like... I think JBL was like, well, I had this coming, so...
Wow. It looked like he tried to murder him with that chair.
I'm sure he did. You know? This is for my friend. Burp.
Yeah, he crushed him with that chair.
That SmackDown. I still remember that SmackDown.
I love Stevie Richards. Another one I'm a huge fan of. He was kind of cut short from injury, right? He got hurt real bad.
And then he's down with DDP and like train. He trains one of the classes, the yoga down there.
He could have easily been Shawn Michaels.
Yeah,
he
I mean,
was so talented.
Yeah, he was good.
Really good. Now he's a big gamer.
Yeah, I know he had a video game store like in the early 2000s or mid 2000s.
Where at?
Somewhere down by Philly because it was
Philly?
from Philly. Yeah.
Well, both those guys will be in the new retro.
WrestleMania. They're speaking of video games. So I bet Stevie's like, yeah, this is awesome.
Well, he has his custom arcade cabinet in his house with it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I can't wait for that game.
Yeah, that's soon.
So you kind of you depart from Chikara.
Yeah, because I just didn't have much money, and then I was like, oh man. But at least I learned a lot there, and like through the other guys from Jersey Shore, like I had EGW, which was a crappy little fed that was. And they still, I don't know if they still run, but they still did. They always run to Tamaqua and like that Summit Hill place that you were at, and Lansford, all the towns up there, and like whatever county that is, and it's Pennsylvania. I know it's terribly local for anyone that's listening, but like it was kind of like,
how does a promotion from New Jersey like run a show and
no, they're from there.
Oh really?
Yeah, they're from that area. Like his dad, he said his dad used to help out with ECW. I don't know how much.
Yeah,
but like it's a good place to get some experience. But like other than that, it was
how does wrestling training work? Like is it like a cosmetology license where you have to have so many hours in ring before you
kind of, but it's kind of like when the trainer thinks you're ready, because you're doing a little bit better. Like obviously you have to learn how to bump and everything first. That's like the starter class, and then hit the ropes and lock up and stuff like that. And once you learn like the basic of bumping and hitting the ropes, then you're okay enough to be like, well, at least you can get beat up, So maybe you won't be doing a bunch of moves. Then you'll learn like hip toss, arm drag. That's usually the first thing, and they'll show like punching chops and stuff like that, and like suplex, the body slam. That's like one of the first moves you learn. Like you don't move, you learn like the other stuff until later on. Like I remember one time Chikara was like, "Okay, we're gonna jump off the top and do a run." I'm like, "What?" Like, okay, like here we go. So that's why I remember it's like when you do the top rope rana, like don't do your legs like this. Like always do like this. That's why I was like, oh, okay,
yeah, but
yeah, so like stuff like that, but like it's weird how as you progress, like you're doing baby moves. It's like it's like an RPG. Like I have a little wooden sword, and I'm gonna use this, and eventually I'm gonna get a rusty sword, and then I'll have this big giant 2-hander,
Mm-hmm.
But
did you ever wrestle shows for Chikara?
No, I never did. I wish I'd caught up. But if you go back in like 2005-06, like there's little guys that help the wrestlers at the back and stuff. I'm in some of them.
Really?
So, yeah.
Nice.
So it's pretty cool. I wish I would have stayed, and if I had enough money at the time, I would have, but man, it was hard.
Yeah,
because
working barely minimum wage.
Yeah, you're getting paid like hardly anything. I have a car payment. I need the car. I'm not going anywhere. And if you work Monday through Friday, and you gotta like drive down to Wrestle, or drive down the train, and then drive to do shows, and you're gone like the whole weekend. Like it was rough.
You come home, your body's destroyed, and you have to go to work the next day.
If it was either closer, or if I just would have had a little more money, and it's like And it's like I was like, man, I just can't do it. I even was like, I wasn't buying comic books at the time. I was like buying nothing. I was like, man, I'm just living.
You're just trying to get trying to chase that dream.
It was too tough, and I was like, I can't. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, well, you got to pay your dues. I'm like, well, you have to live too.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was living with my mom. Like, if I was living on my own, I would have been
screwed.
Homeless. Yeah. But so I didn't. But at least I had them guys in EGW, and then PCWA was starting, and they would run up around Mont Carmel area. And the guy's name was like G.I. Barry's, basically John Cena. Mm-hmm. His name was Greg. And then another girl, her name was Autumn Breeze. She would run it. And I was like out with them, and then I would wrestle there. And then another she used to wrestle for a promotion down like Maryland area called MCW. And there was two. There's Maryland Championship Wrestling. This was Maximum Championship Wrestling. Okay. Run by a guy named Massive Mike.
Massive Mike.
He was a black dude. He was like jacked and everything. Massive Mike.
I was going to say, he's like 125 pounds.
No. He was actually he was in fairly good shape. And then he kind of just transitioned to just manage. And then he got a job at TNA selling like gimmicks, selling like T-shirts and videos and stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
And I don't know if I don't think he's still with him, but that he stopped at MCW. That's where I met Matt Turner at MCW. And at the time he was just like getting out of ROH. Well, of the training school. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he was still with him or not, but I didn't know him real well at that time. I just knew him enough to be like, hey, how's it going? Mm-hmm. And I just remember he'd like listen to metal on his headphones when he was like getting ready for his match. And that like back then, like, so Deshaun wrestled there a few times. James Ellsworth, Jimmy Dream was there.
Yeah,
that's the first time I met him. I know Lewis Rich and Alan Cross, but they used to book Axel Rotten all the time. So I got to be in a match with Axel Rotten, tag team, and then against Axel Rotten.
Nice.
It's actually, I think it was like Axel Rotten.
Was that your first guy? Like your
it was the first time. I was like, I don't know what to do. And he's like, yeah, just me. And Axel Rotten was so cool. I mean, I know he had his drug habits, and eventually, it was the death of him, but like he was very nice to me. So, and they used to run shows around Maryland, Delaware area, and it was weird. It was so far. You had to go down into Maryland and then back up into PA, and there was no way to go like down like you couldn't just go to Pennsylvania unless it was all country roads. Like the fastest way was to take go past Gettysburg and go into Maryland. There's one town, I forget the name of it, and then come back up. It was to Blue Ridge Summit, PA. It was called.
Yeah.
There's this firehouse on top of the hill. So, and that was like 2 hours, but that was just starting training. Like I didn't know nothing.
Now you guys weren't a tag team right away either.
No,
you just kind
no,
of wrestled in the same promotion.
Yeah, I wrestled like one time, like later on, and that's up in the one place in Nanacoke. So yeah, and I don't know how I got with them guys. And then eventually, like through doing PCWA, I met like the Mess Brothers and stuff, and like they had their training center. I was like, I didn't know. Yeah, I was like, I didn't know that existed. I went there a few times just to work out and stuff. I remember their most famous trainee was what's his name, Steve Carino.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I think I was there once or twice with Steve Carino, and he was nobody then. So
yeah, I think Harris said he tried to
train
there
he tried to
yeah. And I guess you would go to training with him, work out and try to help him out a little bit.
That's when I was like, a little bit, but then I knew them guys and let me come and train.
He spoke very highly of Ed. He said Ed was fantastic.
Yeah, Ed is very good. Yeah.
I can't.
He got size and he's funny. Like, I have nothing bad to say.
He was a good trainer too.
Yeah,
really good.
Because he would show you what to do, and then of course you had Troy and Mark, and then it was Jason at the time. I forget his gimmick name, and a couple other people. Yeah, it was a fun time there. So then I got more training like here and there and stuff, and then I'd branch out and wrestle for other places. And then I somehow all the guys from Scranton, like I didn't meet them until I was a couple years in. I know they were running some place. There's a guy named Mr. Saturday Night. What a lame name. And he run CPW. Classic Pro Wrestling or I don't Championship Pro, something stupid. They used to run St. Mary's where WWE used to run years ago.
Oh wow!
And the other that was the Catholic Youth Center. And then they were just St. Mary's. It was like close to it or something. And I'd wrestle up there, and I won the United States title there. And that's how I wrestled Sanjay Dutt there.
Is that your first title?
No, I think the PCWA United States title I won that. And then they didn't run for a while. I think like I had it for like a year just because they didn't run. They run like 1 or 2 shows.
What is that experience when you hit a locker room that night and you're like, hey, they're putting the belt on you?
It's pretty cool, especially your first time. You know, I mean, it's nothing in the long scheme. You know,
it is
overall, but like for you, it's something. It's like, oh, it's all indie, and you're winning the belt. And it was pretty cool. I like that was like one of my goals. Like I want to win the title, and I want to have a match on DVD, and I want to wrestle at the arena. So I never got to wrestle at the arena yet. But hey, what can you do?
What DVD are you on?
All the little ones that came out from like ACW, like tons of them and stuff like that.
What was your first major title for a company?
I would say that. Like you mean like the main title?
Like a main title.
GSW probably.
GSW?
Their heavyweight title.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the world at the time. Yeah.
Who did you beat for it?
I believe Damian Gibbs was his name. He was like this real jack guy. He had like a Adonis gimmick, I guess you could say. Yeah, I think I beat him for it. And then, do
you remember the moment, like when you found out you're winning your first world title?
Kind of. I forget like exactly. Like it's like, wow, really? Like you're gonna go with me? Like, yeah, okay. It's like, okay, we like you and stuff. And that was like, it was basically GSW. Although that was GSW. What am I saying? What was it? There was another one at the time. Like, and that was GSW basically, and then we became so. Like, it was cool. I had it for I don't know, a couple like 6-7 months.
Nice.
So yeah, it was fun.
How many titles have you acquired?
I don't know.
Oh, really? You don't
I don't know. I did keep track. Usually, wherever I'd go, I usually would win one. Not the main one, maybe like United States or TV.
An undercard.
And then when I was in ACW, like I got there pretty early into it. Maybe I was only wrestling for like a year or two, and I wrestled there for like 5-6 years, and I stopped, and then I went back like last year. Yeah. What was it, the year prior? I've been there for a year. I don't know. And it was in a couple of shots here and there, but yeah, they had like a cruiserweight title and they had a tri-state title. And I won the tag titles there, and then he changed the cruiserweight, and I was that's the light heavyweight title, and I won that. So it's pretty cool how I got to have all them. And then of course the Outbreak, that's like the main one.
You're like a serious player at Outbreak. Like you're I mean, if it was considered like main roster, you're always in the title picture. You're kind of a top spot in that, right?
Yeah, which is really cool.
Yeah,
you know. I'm very appreciative of that.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. Like,
and then you get people like after a while, like a couple years in, not to cut you off, like people are like, oh yeah, I really want to wrestle you. And then people are like, wow, I have my best match with you, or my favorite match was when I wrestled you. I'm like, well, I must be doing something right here.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, 100%. Like the one of the things is like I met you at a show with Fulton, and I just remember Fulton was like, yeah, this guy's awesome, and he was like, I remember one of the things he told me. He goes, I wish that in a way, it's a great compliment, but in a way, I was like, man, Steve, I don't know what you're thinking. But he goes, man, could you imagine if they if Andy Hedder and like Marty could be like Dolph Ziggler's Marty Jannetty? Like they could be like the new Rockers. And I was like, that's an awesome, like the Rockers were a great team. But then I'm like, I don't want Andy to be Marty though.
Yeah, be Marty. Yeah,
yeah, but
I know what he's saying.
Yeah,
though. That's cool.
And I remember we met you, and they were drunk idiots.
Oh my God, yeah.
I had a couple, but I wasn't. I just remember you being like,
yeah,
I'm out of here.
Because when Steve's drunk, he does something else. And same with Dave too. Like I knew Dave from the band stuff.
Yeah. So we met that night, and then we hung out a little later. And I remember we started going to Outbreak shows, and then Dave kind of made that connection, Dave Martin. And then I was like, hey, do you want to be on the show? And then you kind of been hanging out. So like going into an event and being a fan of wrestling or a fan of somebody, like a fan of yours, it's one thing. But like when you go in and you're like buddies, and then you kind of watch you win a title, it's a really awesome experience.
And like for people that aren't
as
wrestling,
a fan or a friend, you know,
for people that aren't in the inside, like it's a big deal for them. Because like I know, like do you know Jim Duranis?
Yeah, I know of him.
Okay, yeah. So I know him from the band thing, like Danny and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I seen you won the belt. Good for you, man. I'm real proud you're doing well. I'm like, so like it means something.
It does.
Like like people don't know like the ins and outs, but like you say, oh yeah, he has the belt. He must be something. So like, yeah, it is cool. I do like it. And I very appreciative anytime
someone
awesome. Says, hey, we're gonna put the belt on you. Any type of belt. I don't care if it's like the crappy whatever. Hardcore title or whatever. Yeah, I like that belts because I like belts. They're
dude,
cool.
It was cool as hell having it on the podcast table.
Like, I know.
It was just every week.
And I've had a bunch of there used to be a promotion in Hazleton area. It was basically kind of like True before. It was called HCW. I couldn't tell you. I don't think it was Hazleton Championship, but their title belt that I won there was they took the old Attitude Era WWE title and painted it orange, and I was like, this looks horrible.
Like they painted the strap orange?
No, they painted the gold orange.
Really?
Yeah, and then put like HCW and stuff. And the one guy was so proud of it, and I was like, "This is awful." And I gotta act like I like this. And I remember I wrestled. You remember he was in the Battle Royal, but he was out right away. I believe Adina powerbombed him on the ramp. Jay Furious.
Yeah,
Jason Furious.
Yeah,
I wrestled him for the belt. I think I beat him for the belt there. I don't think it was the world title, but I could be confused.
Yeah.
But man, it was the awfulest belt. Orange metal, like I was like, what are you thinking?
And then like right before this whole outbreak, man, you're in line for 2 belts.
I know, and it's like, and I was really like, and then the ACW running hot Friday and Saturday, and I was like, man, I gotta go get like noticed here a little bit. Like if I could just get like one match somewhere, NWA, like it'd be great.
You're definitely on your come up, and you're getting like you went out and bought all the gear, and you can't even use it yet.
I know, it sucks, you know.
And it's crazy because like not only is your singles run doing fantastic. Here's the crazy thing about independent wrestling is like you went out and forged your own path, and you're doing amazing with like Outbreak and PPW and Atomic and True and all those other promotions that you wrestle for. Like anywhere you're a workhorse, man. You've already wrestled 2 shows one night.
Yeah,
you jump out of a ring.
Yeah,
grab your bag. You put your bag by the door when you hit the ramp,
and
you come back out. You grab your bag out the door.
I feel so bad. I hate to rush and do that, but sometimes you have to. Like, and it's like, I remember the one time I did that, and then I wrestled Friday and Sunday. I'm like, this is too much. Like, maybe if this is my only job, then Monday I just be like, do nothing, go to bed. But I'll do the double shots. I don't like to, but like, I'll do it if I have to.
But then like in other promotions, when you're teamed with Team Blue and Gold, you guys are pretty much considered a top team there as well.
Yeah, which is cool.
So a lot of promotions are like, hey, if we need a tag team, Blue and Gold's a name they think of, and it's a popular tag team.
Which I'm happy about. You know,
and
I tell them like, hey, if you want to book the team, we'll book just me, just him. Whatever you want. You know?
Yeah. And it's crazy. Like you're hitting on 2 different notes there, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, which I like. It's kind of like 2. It's like like Wolverine has his solo ventures, and he's also part of the X-Men.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and then a lot of your comic fandom carries over to your ring.
It always has. Yeah. Like my first ones were just I got off high spots in the wrist. Like they were silver and purple, and they just went like a V thing. They're like Lance Storm tights. I call them. They had the V. People that know know exactly what I mean. And it was basic, my first stuff. And then I got like my Chains and Flames stuff, which are purple and green. I always use those colors. And I was like, I'm just gonna get comic theme gear. Well, first I got purple and green Wonder Woman and Spawn, and I was like, okay, I'll just get the colors. And
do you still wear your Wonder Woman ones?
I wore them before. So like they kind of look like people say Macho Man because they're like it's supposed to be her tiara in the front, but it's like, and then the star's like this, and the star in the middle because it's her tiara, but it's green, so people don't understand. And there's flames on the side, but then there's her lasso is on one side, and then my AH symbol's on the other, and then my kick pads were her boots, but the AH symbol on them.
Nice.
But they're green. They're white and green instead of red and white.
Okay, so it was like a color variant.
Yeah, so like people like if you knew, you knew, but and like her lasso was neon green with glowing green.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm
Did
like,
people think it was like a snake?
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, what's that? That's cool. And then I had the gauntlets, but they were purple and green. So
Yeah.
and I didn't have the tiara, obviously.
Uh-huh.
But
It'd been
yeah,
awesome if you did.
yeah, I know. We throw it at people. So, but then I was like, well, I'm just gonna start. I was like, purple and green, because no one wears that, and like everyone. Especially when I started, wore red and black. That's why for the longest time I was like, I'm not getting red and black. Fuck that. Like everyone has that. But now the Spawn stuff I do, and it looks awesome. But it's like people just like black pants, like a red line. I'm like, that's fucking lame. So that's why And again, I design all my own stuff. I don't make it, but I design it.
Yeah.
So sometimes the gear maker will change a little bit, and say, I think this look better. So, and I usually go with them. Like, well, they would know. So
yeah. I can't wait to get back, man, because there's so much cool stuff was happening. I'd still like to see, like, I want to see more blue and gold matches. I only got to see one, and it was definitely interesting seeing you in a tag team.
It's fun. It's different because I don't have to think 100% of everything.
Yeah. Do you prefer a singles match or a tag team match?
I don't know because it's weird. Like sometimes a tag team match is easier because you get to take that break, but then you still have to pay attention, know their different spots, and I don't know. They're different. I'll take either one. Sometimes a singles match like. It's weird. Sometimes it's easier singles because it's just you and one guy.
Yeah. But
then sometimes the tag match is easier because like okay, well, he's gonna get like Matt Turner's gonna get in there and then he does that part and I just like da, da, da.
Yeah. How different is it going into a tag match? So say like, and this is not a knock. I'm just using it as an example. Like you walk into an Outbreak or a PPW and they say, hey, tonight you're teaming up with this guy because we're going to do the WWE thing where you're...
Yeah, random. Yeah, so that's a little bit different because then you're like, well, maybe like, we'll double team move, we'll double suplex. We don't have moves that like,
and then you team up with like Matt.
Yeah, so you just say a name or something, but okay, let's do this. Like the Maximum Carnage or something like we named all the moves. Like that's, we do the power, so that's a superplex and then splash. So like...
Who are some guys in the area that when you get in the ring with that you're like, wow, these guys are on a different level? You could definitely tell they're on their A game.
Like really good. Well, Ed, like we said, Ed House is really good. I think Dame's very good.
Yeah.
The first time I wrestled him, I was like, yeah, we'll have a good match because I seen a little bit of him. I was like, you're pretty good. And it's like, yeah, it's very easy when you can get in there, and it's easy. And you have a connection. Some of you like they're good, but you just don't have a connection. It's kind of like I think magnets like going like the opposite.
I think my favorite match you've ever wrestled, like solo 1-on-1, was you and Dame.
Okay, the 2 out 3 falls one. Yeah, that was real good.
Such a good match.
And he let me. Like once you get some people's trust, like he's like, yeah, Paul jumping floor. Okay, that's what I had. I wasn't gonna break his neck or nothing. But I really like that one. I'm trying to think offhand of just people that I've wrestled. Like a lot of times, like. We wrestle like trainees and stuff like not that they're the shits, but they're not there yet. They're getting there, but they're not there yet.
Do you get frustrated when you go to a promotion like, hey, you're gonna be the guy who takes the fall all the time?
Not really.
Or do you take it as like, okay, they trust me enough to work with these young guys to help them get better?
A lot of times I always thought like, and some old veterans will tell you like, you can go into a match and lose and come out looking better than the winner if you know what you're doing.
Yeah,
I
think that's not. And I don't think
not
it's
that you're stealing the show, but just like, wow, that guy did this, this, and this.
Yeah.
And they kind of forget who won, but like, oh, I remember he shot that invisible arrow, and then he did that move, or he yelled at this person. They remember that more so than the guy.
Or your crowd work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I always try to do that more and is be lively and be like a lot of people are like, oh, you're screaming and talking so much. And I'm always thinking, I'm not talking enough because I was thinking if I could do that. Like, people are going to remember that. And I don't have to do all kinds of crazy flips. I can do some. I can't do, like, 450s and stuff. But, like, a lot of people will be like, oh, yeah, I seen that facade match. It was awesome. Well, what did he do? He jumped off the top rope and stuff.
Yeah.
And, like, well, and then they're like, oh, I seen Eddie Head wrestle, and he yelled at this person, and he said this.
Yeah.
And, like, and they remember that. Like
sometimes the crowd work is just as memorable, or the character is just as memorable as doing a 450 from the outside.
Yeah, and it's not. I mean, that stuff's cool.
There's a place for everything.
Yeah. But I always think if you can balance both, if you can have a good character, you can talk. Like you have to be able to talk. You can't come out there and be like, or just like, yeah, I'm gonna get him. Like, have some charisma. And if you don't, get a fucking manager.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to hear that perspective. Like. Because a lot of times it is pro wrestling, but from an outside perspective as a fan, we think so much about wins and losses.
Yeah.
But like as someone who's in the match, you're like, you know what, I'm honored that they're letting me go out there and they're trusting me as a veteran to work with the young guys to get them better. And the young guys are like, holy shit, I get to wrestle a guy like Andy Header who's been around so long.
And then they know, like, oh, he's gonna make me look good and stuff.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. So it's definitely a great way to look. Like, I think a lot of people can look at it and be like, oh, like Andy Header in this promotion is being underused, or he could be used better. But it's just like, you're just, I'm doing what I'm asked to be doing. I'm helping. I mean, I'm helping talent get better.
Yeah.
And now hopefully the day comes where they throw me that bone.
It's
you know?
like I never usually complain about stuff unless it's something terrible.
Yeah.
But if you're there and you're doing what they want, eventually, like, wow, this guy's always doing what he wants. He's still in the show here or doing really good. They'll start pushing you a little bit.
Yeah.
So I mean,
so
I never like
the moralists stay humble and just
I never kiss anyone's ass either. I don't. If you don't want to book me, I'll stay home and pet my cat. That's what I say. Like, that's fine. Don't book me.
Yeah.
But if you want to book me, then I'm gonna try and do the best I can.
Mm-hmm.
And if I steal the show a little bit, I mean, I'm obviously not going out there and be like, I'm gonna do this move, so that guy's gonna go fuck himself. I'm gonna go out there and give you a really good match, and if people like that better than the main event, then that's on them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a fantastic experience, just like becoming friends and doing the podcast with each other, and going from kind of sitting in the bleachers and watching the match to like certain promotions where out like with PPW and Outbreak, where I'm kind of, because of the podcast, I'm kind of behind the scenes a little bit, and kind of
it's easy in for you. Like, I wish I had that when I started. Like, anything, fuck.
And it's like, it's crazy because like, I hope one feeds the other. Like, hey, if this podcast gets good, we can bring the podcast in, and we can also book a guy who we want to try to get with Andy Header. It could be like a 1-2 punch, and vice versa. Like, hey, Andy Header's coming, and he's part of this podcast.
Yeah, maybe we can get them to come
help promote.
Do some videos. Or something.
It is cool to get that, but what I'm getting at here is this really, to be a friend and a fan and watch you win a title was fantastic. Yeah, and then to be a friend and a fan and then see behind the stage, behind the curtain of like being a locker room leader, like how you're like, hey,
I don't know if I am like a leader,
like,
but
but not like a locker room leader, but like someone that like. Honestly, I was very impressed of the way you handled like the Rumble. Like how everyone's like, Header, where am I at?
Yeah.
And, like,
and I was like, I'll put it together. I mean, I never did it, but I know I can do it.
It was awesome, man. Like I think and how like you're not afraid to go up to somebody like a newer guy and be like, yo, or like watching two guys work their match out, or going up like, hey, the match is great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just really cool to see that dynamic of it.
Like I'll give people advice. I mean, I don't feel that I'm like, I'm not Shawn Michaels or nothing, but
100%.
I'll help them out. If they ask, I'm not going to be like, you fucking asshole.
Yeah.
A lot of times, like, I'm really particular to people's gears, and if it sucks, I'll be like, I gotta tell them. I'm like, dude, maybe if you get this, I don't say your gear's the shits, get new gear, but I'm like, hey, maybe you should get some kick pads. It will look much better. Yeah. Maybe you should swap out this color and like try and help them a little bit. Yeah. And come out with a jacket.
It's insane. It's insane when you watch a match. I kind of do it sometimes, like depending on who it is and how much clutter. Like I just say at a PPW, where like I watch a match and then I kind of like if I'm down towards the bottom of the bleachers, and then you see them hit the curtain and they have a conversation with each other about the match and what they felt about it afterwards. Yeah. And it's crazy to me. Like I remember one match, I won't say names or anything, but somebody came out and there was a spot in the match where there was a super kick, and someone sold a super kick to the point where I legit was like, I wonder if they got kicked. It looked that good. And the first thing they said when they came back was like, oh my God, I botched that super kick. It didn't look good. And I was like, no, that looked fantastic.
I mean, like these people say that you're always your worst critic.
Yeah. That's
why you should always ask somebody else. I mean, it's good to watch your stuff to get it in your mind how you're doing. Like, oh, I'm doing a little wrong. I'd like to do it like this. Yeah. But yeah, it's someone else will tell you.
It's just a different experience. Like being a wrestling fan your whole life, and then even just at a local indie show, and you kind of get to be behind this curtain a little bit. It's a whole different experience.
It is. It's
so
a science,
much fun.
I tell people.
I always and like, here's the thing too. Like, so say if you ever see me at a fucking show, and you're like, who's winning tonight? I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't know. Yeah. And you ask Andy, I don't want to know. Yeah. Like people come to me all the time and they're like, "Hey, this person is gonna." I'm like, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, don't tell me. Don't tell me.
Yeah, keep some of the surprise.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just such a cool experience.
Yeah, I love it. That's the love of my life right there. Yeah. I don't need no wife. I just need wrestling.
Yeah,
that's it.
It's just strange. Like we started this podcast, and not only did a podcast spawn like a friendship, but it's just like. In less than, because we're coming up on our second year with this podcast, and just how far and how much we've both evolved with the podcast and even like wrestling. You've been doing good, but like this whole year and a half, 2 years has been like a resurgence for you. Like you're kind of rebouncing back in 2 different platforms, a solos career and a tag career.
Which I'm happy about. It's like I'll take either or.
Hopefully we'll get you on Dark one day.
If I could just do something, it's like people, but it's like I never want to kiss someone. Could you say something? Because like how many people are asking?
That's where I struggle.
Like, how many people are asking that same person? Like I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah,
I want to be like, hey, we're coming to Philly. You want to come, like, be an extra? Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's like, or something like so good, maybe it goes viral and it gets shared.
But the problem is listen, I would 100% agree with you with this, and because I'm the same person, like I'm always afraid to ask.
Yeah.
But then you watch a guy who isn't afraid to ask, and then that opportunity happens, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah, you don't know. It's like it's weird. It's kind of like
you want your work to pay. You want your work to speak for itself, and you don't want to be the guy who's like, "Can you please?"
Yeah, but if no one sees it, then
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like a damned if you do, damned if you don't.
It's like being in a local band. Like, hey, maybe you're great, but if that record producer doesn't hear it, you're not getting the deal.
It's like it's like, do I want to annoy people and share my post for my new episode 500 times and maybe get 30 more listens out of it, or do I just say I'm going to promote it once and hopefully it's good enough that people catch on
a couple times
because you don't want to be a nuisance, but you definitely want to be proud of your work. It's a weird balance, and I definitely know where you're coming from in that struggle. Like, listen, I would love to be on AEW, but I don't want to be the guy to send 800 messages a day. And say,
can I message someone right now?
Please
talk
give
to
me
someone
a
on
chance.
AEW? Yes, I can.
Yeah.
Do I? No. Now if that person messaged me and said something, then I'm doing it.
Yeah.
But
it's tough.
Yeah,
it's like a weird line.
Yeah.
I definitely
because then I think if Chuck Taylor's on a show with everybody, everyone's like, "Oh, could you please say something to Cody?"
Exactly.
And he's probably like, "Sure, get out of here."
The head guy, one of the head trainers and talent relations guy was at a PPW show.
Yeah.
And you're like, "Oh my god, all I have to do is be like, hey, what do you think of my match? And do you think I'm AEW material? Wink, wink, wink."
Yeah.
But then you're like, I'm not going to say a word to him because I just want my work to speak for itself.
And he might be like, "Fucking jabron." He's like, "I'm not even gonna." Even if he was going to be like, "Fuck him."
And the other side of the coin be like, "Man, he had balls to come up to me.
Yeah.
Let's give him a shot." Like you don't know how the coin flips.
It's weird. It's like
it's terrifying.
And a lot of things in wrestling, like it's knowing people, but you got to be good too because you know somebody. But if you're the shits, then you're gone.
100%.
So I don't know. Hopefully, like there used to be a Fed. It was LCW, Lancaster Championship Wrestling. That was the best. They would get so many people. It was kind of like PPW, but they would draw like thousands of people.
Yeah.
Well, 1,000, 1,500, 1,600, and they used to get big names: Kurt Angle, Bret Hart, Roddy Piper. Not to wrestle, but sometimes wrestle and then appearance, and that was really good. So I got to meet a lot of people there.
Yeah, PPW could do those numbers if people just didn't buy a ticket for a name.
Yeah,
which kind of bums me out.
Yeah,
because that roster is so good.
Yeah, LCW, like people would come in, they would know us, like the smaller guys, and they chant for us. So I mean, that was great. But then they sold the company to another guy, and that guy actually, I think he's in jail now for embezzlement or something.
Really?
So, yeah. So anytime a company changes, that's one thing with indie wrestling. I have to, like the companies that have come and gone since I started. There are many.
Yeah.
And there's still some, like ACW has been around forever. PPW has been around for, I don't know, six years, their 6th anniversary, something like that. Yeah. So I mean, some will stay and a lot go, or it'll be like a training place, and then they come and go. So yeah.
So let's end with this here, and we'll put some people over.
Okay. That's why I was gonna, and then I'll post it. and I'll tag them. I'm like, "Hey, the wrestlers love to hear themselves get put over. The following people will put over in this interview."
Yeah, we'll tag them all. I'm only really familiar with 2 promotions at the moment because I'm still trying to branch out and go to different shows. So I don't really know the Backbreaker roster. I don't know the Atomic. So and a lot of them could be crossover guys from other ones.
Yeah, a lot of
So who are some guys? We'll just say Outbreak and the other promotions. Who are some guys on those rosters that you haven't worked with, or maybe when this whole virus is over, you look forward to working with?
Yeah, okay. So obviously Deshaun Pratt, Bro Keller, put him on the list.
You and Bro would be I think Bro is.
He's real good. I think he could get
He's a
signed.
superstar.
Yeah.
He's a superstar. He's a great look. He's good in the ring. He's good. He's really good.
ACW, I've wrestled a lot of people there. Yeah, but Bro wrestled there, so I wrestled him there. I'll wrestle Dame anytime there again.
Did he move out of the area?
I don't think. I think he was talking about, but I don't think he did.
Oh, okay.
As far as I know, I'm not sure. I think he still is down by Denver, PA. And that's Tape runs that. So I'm trying to think of people other there on that roster. I also got to wrestle Facade. I'll wrestle him again. It's weird because I don't know many tag teams that we haven't wrestled. Like the Stepdads, we wrestled a bunch of time. Me and Matt Turner. I'll wrestle Stepdads again. I know there's a team called the Ugly Ducklings, but I never see them really wrestle, so I can't say, hey, I'd like to wrestle those guys.
I honestly would really like to see I mean, you guys did already. You wrestled the Sandball show.
Yeah. I'd like to do that again. It was a kind of a quick one, so if we get a little bit longer there.
Blue and Gold.
I'd like to wrestle Trajan because I never really wrestled Trajan.
One-on-one.
Yeah.
You and Trajan would be a fantastic match.
And then a lot of the girls, like, because the intergender matches, like, I'd wrestle Adina. I would wrestle
Christina.
Yeah, I'd wrestle Christina, definitely. I mean, not because, they touch her butt. Like, I'm not being perverted.
Yeah,
Have a good match.
Yeah. That's what some of the
I
people
like Lena Lennox in ACW.
Oh, she's fantastic.
Yeah, and there was another girl.
You spoke really highly of her, and then
really
she
cool.
showed up at PPW, and I was like, that should be something.
Yeah, and I dig her whole look and everything. I'm like, yeah.
That's someone they should keep. And her promo she cut with the PLA Pile
Yeah,
Driver
that
podcast
was pretty funny, yeah.
Go over on Instagram or Facebook and type in PA Pile Driver podcast and watch the interview they did with her. She is a home run.
Yeah. And she's a big fan of, like, the
and
80s style.
they also interviewed she actually, you know, the gimmick we always talk about, we wish Charlotte had, where she's like, I'll take dudes in the back and bang them.
Yeah.
That's kind of her gimmick.
She's like, a big NWA fan. I was like, this is awesome.
She's like, come here, boys. You guys can come back to the hotel room tonight. Like, I was like, this girl is great.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. She's hot, so it works.
Yeah.
There was another. I forget her name. Oh, I see her. She had she kind of looked like Frost from Mortal Kombat. Like, I think she's Lady Frost.
Lady Frost, yeah.
Yeah, she's really good. And her boyfriend, husband, I don't know. He has a steamboat gimmick. I forget his name.
He's really good too.
Yeah, he's very good. I would wrestle Max Morrison. I'd like a match with him.
Yeah,
he'd be pretty good. And we talk metal the whole time.
I feel like the other guy's name is Morrison too, or Max or something. The guy that we're trying to think of.
I forget. You have to look him up. A lot of guys in True I've wrestled. You've seen Clay. Yeah, when we had the tag match with the Cash Masters.
Yeah, I would like to see Blue, and I know.
Yeah, we wrestled them again in a singles tag match.
I know PPW's tag team division is really stacked, and I know they're really kind of holding off on bringing more tag teams in. Yeah. But I would really like to see Blue and Gold main event, Blue and Gold Sandball show. Like, I know you're making a singles
and the
run
Punk Rock
there.
Guys,
Punk Rock All Stars.
Yeah.
I honestly think Blue and Gold would be a good addition to that tag team.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I definitely. We'll wrestle anybody anywhere.
Yeah.
A lot of the backbreakers guys I wrestled. What's his name? Rex Taylor. He's jacked. I wrestled him once or twice. I'd wrestle him again. Just trying to think of people. There's lots of people out there. Logan, I know he actually tagged me like people you want to wrestle once quarantine's over. I was like, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of guys like from down Maryland way. He's down by like York area.
I think no, there was another guy who messaged me that wants to do an interview,
and
I think we can really put this to bed of what the name is right now. So Sean Carlson messaged me.
Oh, okay.
And he's a manager, right? He pretty much for the most part, I think he just manages. I don't know if he wrestles. One of the things is the shooter's choice, so that's another one. I'd like to see you wrestle one-on-one.
Killy McMurphy.
Oh,
yes, yeah. I had fun a little bit in the Battle Royal with him. I would definitely wrestle him again.
He's another guy where if
I think he's very good.
He's fantastic. He's so talented.
There was a couple guys in the Battle Royal like a match with these guys,
Yeah.
Like I go over and do a little bit. Like me and Deshaun got to do a little bit in there. And the same with Bro. I'm trying to think offhand. It's weird.
Miles Millennium.
Miles. Oh, okay. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. That's
and they have their little group.
Yeah. The Cash guys or whatever.
Yeah, I forget.
But Miles Millennium has another one. He has a fantastic look, and he does the Destino or
yeah. Which is like a sliced bread, a single sliced bread. If you're
the Seth Rollins look.
Yes,
he has the blonde streak.
So I mean, it's weird because tag teams like there isn't many in the area that we haven't wrestled. Obviously, Diamond City. Well, not Diamond City. What's their name? Diamond City War Machines?
Yep.
Brad and Eric. Yeah, I hadn't done them for a while. That was fun. I would wrestle them again.
I'm so sorry that I don't remember the name. Who was the other tag team in that match? The other two guys. When it was you, Diamond City War Machines.
Wasn't the Stepdads, was it? No, it wasn't. Was it?
No,
it was AJ and Trajan.
No. At GCW, the ones with the cash on their pants.
Oh, the cash mat. Oh, so Clayton. He had so. CD. His name was CD Drasher. Now it's Clay.
What's the name of that tag
Clay
team?
Drasher. Cash Masters.
Cash Masters.
And
they're a good
then
team
Sean. What's his gimmick name? I don't know. I know his real last name is Sean. So Clay and Sean. Yeah, they're good. Clay was the one that had a headband on.
Well, once Outbreak comes back, you'll be wrestling Chris Banks, which is someone who said he wants to wrestle you.
PPW.
Really
Yeah.
PPW.
Yeah, we had a 3-way one time down at Triple WA.
I think that might turn into a 3-way with you, him, and Moran.
Yeah, it might. I mean,
which is fantastic.
Yeah, which is cool. And I wrestled Johnny. I wrestled him again. I definitely like to wrestle Chris Banks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about him. So that should be a good match. Look forward to that, and then look forward to the match with Johnny Moran again if we have that. So I mean, it's A lot of good matches on the way. And then me and Cortez Castro, Ricky Reyes.
That's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, who knows if it will change now? I don't know, but yeah, that should be good.
I would love to see you and Ian Bush.
Yeah, we didn't have a singles match.
No.
Yeah, so I'd do that.
And Ian, I like Ian impresses me.
Yeah,
he's a good guy. Like he's like he has obviously the super baby face thing.
Yeah,
and then behind the scenes, he's more like a frat boy.
Yeah,
but he's so funny. Like he's a good dude.
Yeah. And, who was the guy that looks like Killmonger from Black Panther?
Oh my God, yeah, with
Chris Slade.
Yes.
Yeah, I would wrestle him. I thought he was really good. I was like, dude, you remind me of Will Ospreay. He's like, oh, thank you.
He's like a black Will Ospreay. Yeah.
He was very good. So I'd wrestle him.
Oh, what's his name? You never really had a match with Tyler Ash. Would be a good one.
No,
too.
yeah.
I think you and Tyler Ash
I don't think we ever even touched each other.
Yeah,
So,
I think you and Tyler Ash would have really good chemistry. In a ring.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of people, and there's what was that tag team that was in Outbreak for like a hot minute? The Throwbacks or something? Or no, the Roughbacks or.
What was that? Is that the one where the guy shaved his chest hair?
I think so. Remember they came out with the Arn and Tully jackets or something?
I believe so.
Yeah, they were there for they were at the Field House one time, which that's one of my favorite. I guess of all the places I wrestled at, that's my favorite.
Field House.
Yes, it's hot as hell, but it's still cool.
The Field House
it has that look.
Is gorgeous.
Yeah.
But for me, it's tough to beat Holy Academy.
Yeah, I mean that's the way that's set up.
It's set up so good.
I mean, if that was packed, that'd be awesome. You know,
imagine being packed. And even the
yeah.
top.
Like, let's say they got the Young Bucks. All right, that'd be packed. You know?
I wish more fans did the throw in the
streamers. Yeah, which is really cool. I remember the first time I was like, "This is awesome! I can't believe it." GSW got streamers, and True Wrestling got streamers.
I just think when people come back to wrestling again, the crowds are gonna be hot.
Yeah, just gonna be so hungry for that first match. That's why I'm gonna be the first one. I'm gonna be the first person that comes out.
You want to opening match?
Yeah,
the
first or second person that comes out.
You heard it
at whatever show.
Andy wants to hit the curtain first.
That's the energy
to hype
right
the
there.
crowd up.
You could get in there and do a headlock. I'm like, whoa!
You could shit in the ring.
Headlock takeover. I'm like, yes! Imagine the pop in the first body slam. They're gonna lose their mind.
First body slam, and you look at the crowd and just be like, I'm happy to be back. And then the whole place
throw them over to the corner. Like, I would not open up with a crazy lucha match.
No.
Save that. Come out and just do like a 1980s
Work
match.
the crowd.
Yeah.
Work the crowd. Be
they'd eat it up.
Hit the ropes when your music dies. Just scream when it's real quiet. Like, are we back or what, baby?
Like, are you ready? You ready for this? And then the first lock up and and then maybe slap the guy.
Like Hogan Savage when they break and they kind of look around in the crowd. Like, you get two big baby faces, like it hit the curtain. Like, or like, I don't know. I don't even think it has to be babyface or babyface. You could do babyface heel.
Yeah.
And just if you put two people out there like you and Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt's wrestling. Star-Lord.
I did a mix up between
Deshaun and Chris Banks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and Deshaun will wrestle first at PPW. It doesn't have to be for anything.
Chris Banks.
Yeah.
Because Chris Banks works the crowd real good too. Like, we're just you guys really playing. Oh my God, that.
Can you imagine the lock up and then a push off and then like the shove in the face and a slap in the face? The people would eat on the ref. You know, like. I don't know that first match, but for all the places, it's gonna be the match.
I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it.
I mean,
just kind of setting up our equipment
because they're just gonna be so hungry. Even like the first match on Raw, people are like losing their minds, and they'll probably come out and have a 20-minute promo, and people are like,
they're gonna start up with like a.
We waited for this.
An Alexa Bliss moment of bliss.
Yeah, and I love her, but I remember Bliss are usually bad.
Just start off with first time you go. Full crowd.
Ricochet versus Angel Garza.
Yeah.
And say, go real slow
Start
at
the night off with pyro. Get everyone, I know you don't do pyro anymore, but bring back the old Raw's War pyro.
Yeah.
Hit a music, hit an Aleister Black music. Yeah. Hit someone like a big, your first show back to a crowd has to be either a big call-up or a big surprise or
something
the first music people hit, you got to be holy shit!
And just give them something. You got to get that first match. The babyface has to win.
Yeah,
just a happy
Send
moment.
Them home happy.
Even if it's 3 minutes. Let's say Aleister Black comes out, and beats the shit out of some NXT guy. You know, people are like, yes.
Oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to wrestling everybody, and hopefully, I always think in my mind, I'm never going to be on any TV. If I could just be in NWA, just that
NWA Power.
If I could just give me a little sliver, you know.
NWA Power, it's a good promotion.
Yeah, if I could just be there. I mean, I'd love to be in New Japan, love to be in AEW, or even Impact or ROH. I'll take anything. Just then I'd be like, I have some some validation
Just to
that
get one
hey,
match at that level.
I'm pretty good, and at least I got to here. You
Yeah.
know, I don't have to run main event WrestleMania. I just want to get somewhere. You know, just one.
just
And
even
if I got the contract opposite, that'd be like okay.
Yeah.
I could die tomorrow. I'm happy. You know.
Listen, man, there's still a lot of time left, and you're working hard.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not really in the gym anymore, because
You can't be in the gym. Yeah, but at least I'm keeping good shape.
But you were hitting it hard.
Yeah, and then like I'm all my arm I had a little pain. It's gone now, so you
Yeah.
know that's one good thing. Everyone's healed up just about, unless you have to real fucked up. But that's one good thing about being off. You know, heal up your back, your knees, your hips, whatever. So you know, and I don't have a high for wrestling for like 14 years now. I don't really have a high mileage bump card, like as they say.
Yeah.
Like, I feel great. You know,
you wrestle smart.
yeah.
Yeah.
I never do anything crazy. You know, nothing too wild.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll get into the death matches. You know, if that's your thing, that's cool. But no,
Yeah,
I don't like that.
I'm not really even a fan of watching that.
Yeah, I don't like it.
It doesn't do
I'm
it
like,
for me.
nope, I don't care.
So anything you wanna put over before we get out of here?
No, well, do you buy your blue and gold t-shirts on Pro Wrestling Tees?
100%.
There's
Those
two
amazing
different ones
shirts.
there. Yeah, if you like the X-Men ones, so you can get one design, or you get one the other, or you get both. So, I still have some. If you want, I'll sell them to you for $20, and I have blue and yellow ones, and that faded black one. That's pretty sweet.
I have the distress.
Yeah, the distress.
The blue.
Yeah,
blue
that one's
and
cool
black.
too. Yeah,
that's the one I have.
and eventually I'll have like shirts of my own. And obviously that guy's role with James Frazier is real busy, but and then when wrestling comes back, you got Atomic Championship Wrestling, you got PPW, True Wrestling, Backbreakers, Outbreak. They're the local ones I'm for, and who knows like who else pop ups. And I'll go to
come see Andy possibly be the first Outbreak 2-time champion,
how
world
about that?
champion.
Yeah.
You can see Andy wrestle Chris Banks for the #1 contender for the TV title at PPW.
Yeah, and maybe John Moran will be in the match. We don't know.
Yeah, it may turn into a triple threat because
for the belt. Yeah,
here's a quick question: first show back, if you can do full crowd and you don't have any restrictions, does PPW come back and just do the super show they didn't do?
Maybe.
Or do you do a show and then a show?
Maybe they do a show just to get back in the motion.
Yeah.
And then they bring it.
Show, then go right. I would
yeah.
pick up right where they left off. Be like, hey, this is the show we were supposed to do, and the next one's going to be Super Show.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
So, yeah. Go support indie wrestling when it comes back, because it'll be the first couple of shows back are going to be real good.
And listen, if wrestling's not going to be back for another week or another month or another 2 months, if you do have extra money in your pocket, man, I know we always promote our merch, but these guys need it too, and they have great merch pages. Find your local favorite wrestler, follow their Instagrams, their Facebooks, find where they're selling their merch. Like I said, you can go buy blue and gold merch at ProWrestlingTees.com. Just search Team Blue and Gold.
Shirts on Pro Wrestling Tees, which everyone does now, just about. I mean, message the guy. I'm like, hey, I'd like to buy a shirt. Do you have this one? And
Yeah,
probably like, sure.
They'll work with you.
Yeah,
100%.
I mean, no one's gonna say no when it comes to selling you something.
Yeah.
So yeah, support wrestling, man.
Yep, and
it's a great thing.
You can catch Andy every Friday when we air our new episodes, Tornado Tag Podcast, and we talk about everything that's going on in the wrestling world.
All things,
you'll hear our take on it. Yeah,
AEW and all things NXT, and when New Japan starts back up, and Raw and SmackDown.
I can't wait to kind of dive back into New Japan.
I can't wait. Oh man, it's been like 3 months with no New Japan.
I've never really watched it.
I miss it so much, and I know they're saying maybe we're going to start having empty arena matches. It'd be cool to see how New Japan handles that.
Yeah,
so, I mean, they're more so about in-ring sports.
A lot of it. I mean, New Japan is probably one of the main promotions that can get away with empty arena because their crowds are quiet anyway.
I mean, they get into it, but they're not
but they pop when they're supposed to pop.
Yeah.
So I think they're a very smart crowd.
And for New Japan, it's more so about the quality of the match.
Yeah,
more so than characters.
100%. All right, well that'll wrap it up. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We bounced around a lot.
Yeah, it's okay. I tell you about my past. And, there's story, but I don't have any of them real good stories. Like, me and so were riding in the door,
and if you did, you probably wouldn't even talk about it. Like if you were like, I was in a shoot fight, legit. But nobody knew it.
And I never had that. If someone stiffed me and I stiffed them back, that was the end of it. But,
yeah.
And, if I didn't put anyone over, I'm sorry. I missed you. I tried to put over as many people as I could.
Absolutely.
It's weird. A lot of people you don't see in years and you forget about them. Mm-hmm. I wish you could have seen Louis G. Rich. He was so good. He did one Outbreak and then he kind of retired.
Andy Harner.
Yeah,
who may not wrestle because of an injury, but he was fantastic.
Yeah, he was very good. I mean, he'll tell you zero charisma, but in the ring, awesome. Kind of like Ricochet.
Yeah, he's even I've seen him in public one time, and I was like, holy shit, dude, you're really... And he's like, oh, my God. He kind of like, don't talk to me. Please don't talk to me.
Man, the stuff he could do in the ring is just amazing.
He's like a different human.
Yeah. I mean, backflip into the neck breaker. I do all the time. Like, I'm going to throw you off and do the clothesline and hit me that backflip neck breaker.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
It was fun wrestling him. So there's another guy that Unbreakable Ed. You put him over. I loved wrestling him.
He comes out the Cyanide Sunrise. He
Yeah,
uses Cyanide Sunrise.
he wrestled Jay.
Jay
a
Bird.
lot. Yeah, when he was
Bird.
Fantastic Max.
Yeah.
He was right out when I was getting in.
Yeah.
Not to make this go longer. So I wish I could have wrestled him.
Yeah.
But what can you do?
All right. Well, that'll wrap it up. We'll see you guys next time. Tornado Tag Podcast. We're out.
Wow.
Oh, no. You always do the no rain.
Oh, yeah.
You can see him in Not Cool in high school as well. That comes out every Wednesday. See you guys.